Nothing better than some rivalry baseball on a perfect Friday night in Amsterdam, New York. The Saugerties Stallions are looking to build off of a 2-game winning streak as they hit the road to take on the league-leading Amsterdam Mohawks, and we have all the coverage for you right here on the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. John Gross alongside Dylan McGlynn here in Amsterdam, New York. Dylan, before we jump into tonight's game as Nick Iverson steps to the plate, let's look back at last night, an 8-3 win, and it was just a consistent offensive performance for Saugerties last night.
Yeah, it really was, and obviously that's a very encouraging sign for the team coming off the last game against the Mohawks, which ended 1-0. Obviously, the Stallions were happy with the result of that game, but they left a lot of guys on base. That was something they really wanted to work on, and they did so last night, bringing in 8 runs.
8 runs for the Stallions as Nick Iverson takes the strike at the knees. First pitch at 6:45.
Only 9 minutes, 10 minutes late.
10 minutes late.
Not as bad as last time.
Not as bad as last. What was it? 16 minutes last time?
Yeah, I believe it was 16.
All right, Iverson a chopper up the middle. Fielded by the shortstop Evelyn, is tossed to first in time, 1 away. Well, the Stallions entered today 13-5 in the year, taking on the 16-4 Amsterdam Mohawks, who were 8-1 at home this season. Of course, the one loss here against the Stallions.
Yeah, it was. That was a great game. One of the best that both of these teams have played all year. Went into extras. Kip Futures had the big double off the wall to give the Stallions the lead. It was a great game, and obviously for the Stallions, you hope for that same result here tonight.
Well, Iverson, the leadoff batter, is the extra hitter tonight for Saugerties. Gunnar Goldsmith at the plate now, second baseman. Fritz Genther bats third, plays third. Kip Futures clean up at first base. Tyler Kelder DHing hits fifth. Andrew Wilhite sixth out and right. As Cole Patton, the starting pitcher for Amsterdam, dips low, 1-0. Caden Kendall seventh in center. Jack Renwick at shortstop bats eighth. Albert Jennings in the 9th spot tonight in left field. And Gene Napolitano rounds out the order at catcher. 1-0 delivery from the righty Patton. Fastball misses outside. 2-0. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for Cole Patton this season, making his 4th start of the year. A sub-1 ERA at 0.77. Has 12 strikeouts and 5 walks and 11 2/3 innings pitched.
Yeah, he's been great. We saw him at Cantine Field against the Stallions last weekend.
As the 2-0 fastball works the outer corner, 2-1. Hey, you mentioned that game 6 days ago. This is actually the identical pitching matchup. It was Cole Patton versus Bryce Reimer in what ended up being a 10-4 Amsterdam win. Goldsmith works a fastball upstairs, ball 3, and that was a game that was tied entering the 7th. So it completely changed on a controversial missed strike call, and the rest was history.
Yeah, it was, and that was a tough game. That was a game that looked like it might go the route of Wednesday's contest against the Mohawks, which obviously ended up in a 1-0 game. Stallions led 1-0 going into the 6th, and then, like you mentioned, that was tied 1-1 going into the 7th.
Well, Gunnar Goldsmith, the 2-hitter, reaches on a walk, ball 4, fastball high. Brings up Fritz Genther with 1 out and 1 on.
With Fritz Genther, I wouldn't exactly say he struggled at the plate, but not quite having the production that he's looking for. I would say in the last week or so, it seems like he's putting good swings on the ball.
Yeah.
And a big game here, obviously a chance to get going. He's still looking for his first RBI of the year, and he's a guy that normally bats in the top 3 or 4 guys in the order.
Yeah, last time at Shuttleworth earlier this week had a couple singles as Goldsmith's going to take off to second, and the throw is offline. It's our first Benson steal of the night. Benson steal, they put stuff up you can't knock down. And Dylan, we saw the Stallions very aggressive at the bases last night. 5 successful stolen base attempts, and that really kick-started this offense last night.
Yeah, it really did. They really took advantage of Yuzuki Akamura behind the plate, stole on him a bunch. So really encouraging to see them kind of take that into this game as well. Goldsmith going right away on that first pitch. No hesitation. Yeah,
tonight it's Jackson Finney behind the dish. We'll see if the Stallions can drive home a runner in scoring position. It's an 0-1 count to Fritz Genther. Watches low, 1-1. This is a good chance for Fritz to get that first RBI of the season. And you figure when you come on the road, especially against a team like Amsterdam, you need to capitalize on these runners in scoring position.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with less than 2 outs, you have to be able to find a way to manufacture some runs and get guys home when they're in a position to score.
1-1 to Genther. Slap shot into center field. That's a base hit. Adam Cray waving Goldsmith around third. Here's the throw, and it's cut off by Roberts as Goldsmith then retreated to the bag. So that single hit a little bit maybe too hard, and it Again, a short outfield so the outfielders can play in a bit, but puts runners in first and third.
Yeah, you saw third base coach Adam Cray start to wave Goldsmith around, but then he held up. Obviously, a good decision. A strong throw in center field from Cam Hill. Looked like it was going to be on a line right to home, so especially with only one out in the inning, no chance risking it there, especially with a guy who's been the Stallions' best hitter coming to the plate.
And a guy who leads the PGCBL in RBI in the year. Kip Fugers at the dish. Fugers a .385 hitter. As the throw over to first, not in time. Genther slides in safely. So the single by Genther continues his uptick in the batter's box, which is very good to see for Saugerties. It's a righty-righty matchup. Patton, who again averages, or his ERA is sub-1 at .077. Now his runners in first and third. Genther dances between first and second and slides in safe.
Yeah, it looks like Fritz Genther over there really trying to take some of the focus away on the mound from Patton. So I'm doing a little dance over there, and you saw Patton take a couple looks at him, and that can be more important than some people think, especially with the runner at third.
First pitch to Kip Fugers, in at the chest, 0-1. Fugers 0 for 3 last time against Amsterdam.
Yeah, and speaking of the pickoff, I've never really been a fan of throwing over to first when you have a guy on third. Obviously, these guys at this level, they can make that throw easily, but you're always...
Oh, we almost saw
right there.
Exactly what you were going to say, Dylan.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, you always run the risk of maybe throwing one away and then allowing the guy to score third to just trot home.
Well, that was Kai Roberts at first, so it's Patton on the mound, Jackson Finney behind home plate, Brett Coker at third, Bryce Evelyn shortstop, Son Miao at second, Kai Roberts at first, left to right of the outfield, Keith Jones, Cam Hill, and CJ Funk. An 0-1 pitch to Kip Fugers, who watches fastball strike 2 outer corner, and Patton works ahead 0-2. One away, scoreless top of the first, Stallions with runners on the corners. Righty to righty, Fugers standing back in the box, awaits the offering from the righty out of Seton Hall. And what do you know, that's the 5th throw back to first?
Yeah, and only 2 pitches so far in this at-bat. Lots of attention being paid to Genther. Wouldn't be surprised to see him moving here with 2 strikes.
0-2 count. They figure maybe a breaking ball coming into Fugers would give Genther a chance to get a really good jump, and he's taken off. Hit and run is line fouled on the first base side, and the count stays 0-2.
Looked like he got a pretty good jump there. But Fugers, obviously, with 2 strikes, you have to swing the bat if you get one in there. He's in full protect mode with that swing, just slaps it foul. So, unfortunately for Genther, what probably could have been a stolen base ends up sending him just back to first.
I think it would have been. Got a really good jump off the base. Yeah. We'll see if Patton goes to the plate or we'll toss it back to first. Genther on first, Goldsmith on third. The 0-2 home, fastball away. 95 in the gun. And Dylan, we haven't seen much. I know it's early, but we haven't seen much besides that fastball from Patton so far.
Yeah, you're right. We really haven't. That's going to be something to watch for, especially the second time through the order to see maybe if he starts to mix it up a little bit, because he's got a hard fastball, so I'm not surprised to see him relying on it early.
1-2 to Fugers. Runner goes. Hit and run to perfection. Line drive into right field. Run will come home. Genther over to third. It's an RBI single by Kip Fugers. And the Stallions strike first. 1-0 Saugerties.
Yeah, like you mentioned, that's the hit and run to perfection right there. Kip Fugers gets a ball he can handle. Hard liner. Almost hit Fritz Genther on the way down to second, but just slapped into right field. Genther booking it. He was stealing, so he easily gets to third without a play. And like you mentioned, Cole Patton, a guy with an ERA under 1 entering tonight, in some early trouble here.
Yeah, the only run he allowed entering tonight's game came against the Stallions 6 days ago, and now just the second run of the year allowed by Patton, also against Saugerties. So here's Tyler Kelder, who last time at Shuttleworth had a 2-run home run to left center, takes a fastball upstairs. And Dylan, I'll tell you this, as a guy who's watched Kelder play, now this is now my 3rd summer seeing him play, he can really take advantage of a good fastball. Doesn't matter how hard you're throwing it.
Especially at a place like this where down both lines is just really meaty.
1-0. That time went off speed, and it's lifted fouled on the first base side, 1-1.
I mean, you talk about, the short porch at Yankee Stadium. Shuttleworth Park really has 2 short porches here, and they're significantly shorter than Yankee Stadium.
280 down the lines and 385 to center. 1-1 count with 1 out.
I do believe that 385 to center is a little bit generous as well.
Maybe 375. 1-1. Breaking ball gets Kelder ahead of that pitch. And now the count 1-2. And you did all the measurements. Did you measure? You used Google Earth to do it.
Did
You measure this field as well?
I did. I measured about 375, and obviously Google Earth isn't exact, but a 10-foot difference is a little bit suspect to me. I might have to come out here another day with a ruler or something.
1-2 to Kelder, misses high, ball 2. And the count leveled at 2 apiece. 1 out, 1-0 Stallions, top of the first. Fritz Genther on third singles, as did Kip Fugers, who stands on first after driving home Gunnar Goldsmith. So the Stallions so far finding some success with runners on. Here's a throwback to first, not in time. And again, Patton really living on the edge with some of these throws back to first, which haven't necessarily been on target.
Yeah, that one wasn't terrible, but yeah, again, anytime you do that with a runner at third, that's the risk you run, so you have to trust that you can get it in there.
Kelder got a piece of it, elevated back, count now 2-2.
Interesting to see him go back with the fastball on 2-2. I really expected him to go off speed because then, on the other hand, I know he did throw 2 off-speed pitches in a row, but if you miss with the fastball or you miss with the off-speed pitch, then you run yourself into a full count where you almost have to throw him a fastball. And like you said, Tyler Kelder crushes fastballs.
2-2's the count. First and third for the Stallions. Patton sets and fires. Kelder a chopper to short. Eblin fields a flip to second. Meow overthrows first base. The run will score. Kelder's into first, and it's 2-0 Saugerties. And that is an error.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for the Mohawks. Had a double play that could have gotten them out of the inning and kept the damage at 1, but Meow just sailed the throw. Looked like he might have rushed it a little bit. Kelder did a good job getting down the line, making it a close play. And, yeah, that ball just not even really in the same area code.
So fielder's choice results in a run coming home for the Stallions. Brings up Andrew Wilhite, who is coming off of his best game as a Stallion. Last night was 2 for 3 with a triple and an RBI double. Also walked in that game as he watches low. 2-0 Stallions now, and Dylan, this is one of the best starts we've seen for Saugerties of the season.
Yeah, it really has, especially when you consider the team they're playing on the road. Just really come out. This is a big crowd tonight. It's a good atmosphere, so it's really important that they came out and kind of got going early and got the crowd quiet a little bit.
Wilhite inside out this foul. Let it play on the third base side. Count now 1-1. 2-0 Stallions, top first. 1-1 count, 1 out. Kelder is on first, and they were hyping up this pillow fight before the game, saying it was going to be the largest pillow fight in county history. I don't know if that ended up being the case, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many other pillow fights Montgomery County has had. I can't imagine it's a super common thing over here, but yeah, it wasn't too big.
1-1 past the swinging bat of Wilhite, and the fastball at 93 on the gun puts Patton ahead at 1-2 with 2 outs, and that could be the issue you run as well with a fastball-heavy pitcher. Once he gets some batters who can catch up to those mid-90s pitches, it could be trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And when you really rely on your fastball, you almost have to throw strikes. You get behind the count and come back with a fastball. That's what hitters are always looking for.
1-2, 2 outs. Kelder's off towards second. Bouncer to the right side of the infield. Backhand by Roberts. He'll flip to Patton covering first, and that wraps up the inning. But the Stallions strike early. 2-0 for Saugerties. 2 runs. And 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 left on base. Bottom of the first after this. 2-0 Stallions on the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Bottom of the first, 2-0 Stallions. Bryce Eblin gets us started. Saugerties off to a strong start in this one, looking to win back-to-back games against Amsterdam after claiming a 1-0 victory on Wednesday. Bryce Reimer gets the start. So it's the battle of the Bryces, and the Amsterdam version of Bryce wins that battle, strokes it into right field for a first pitch single to lead off the night.
Yeah, you talk about Bryce Reimer. He's a guy obviously started last Saturday against the Mohawks and pitched great. 5 innings, no runs, left with a 1-0 lead, and obviously the game kind of imploded from there. But Reimer dominated this Mohawk lineup, so pretty easy decision for Rich Doobie to send him out for another game here tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if Reimer can continue where he left off against Amsterdam. As he looks over to first, now faces Brett Coker, the top hitter statistically in this batting order. 385 in the season. Amsterdam, 16-4 this season, 8-1 at home. Again, the only loss at Shuttleworth Park for the Mohawks. An 8-6 win for Saugerties. That pitch fouled away, count now 1-1. And how about this last night? I know we talk a lot about length of games, and the Stallions have played some pretty long games this season. 2 hours, 9 minutes for Amsterdam's 2-0 win over Utica.
Yeah, well, I actually talked to our friend Ethan over there, the Mohawks play-by-play man. He said he left here before 9 o'clock last night.
Remarkable. As Coker shows bunt and pulls back, 2-1 count. Before 9 o'clock, that is...
Yeah. For a game that started at 6:35.
Yeah. It's a 2-1 from the lefty Reimer. 2-0 Stallions, bottom one. Runner on first is Eblin, and a changeup totally fooled Coker, who couldn't make contact. Now the count 2-2.
And Amsterdam, we talked about before the last meeting between these two teams, Amsterdam came into that game averaging over 8 runs per game.
Yeah.
But the last 2 games, they've only scored 2 runs total. So in a little bit of a slump here.
2-2 offering for Reimer. Checks back to first. Once, twice, 3 times. Now stares down Eblin. Time is called on the prolonged stare down. And we'll reset things. 2-2, nobody out. Stallions lead 2-0, bottom of the first. Eblin leads off at first after the first pitch single. Lefty to righty, Coker at the dish. The 2-2 as Eblin takes off, hit and run, foul back down the first base side, out of play.
You saw Eblin when he slid headfirst into second. You can just see how far back he is when he starts that slide. That's an effect of the turf. You can slide if you go in with a normal slide into the turf, you're gonna fly right over the bag.
We saw that a couple times a few days ago here. I think it was Kane Verduzco for the Stallions overslid second base. Now he stayed on it enough as the 2-2. Oh, totally made Coker look silly. What a curve by Bryce Reimer. Whew.
Man, what a pitch. Totally had him fooled. I don't know what he was sitting, but he certainly wasn't sitting on that pitch. Just kind of an excuse me swing, desperately trying to just foul that off, and couldn't do it.
Well, about as disgusting of a curve as you'll see this season.
It's probably about as bad of a swing as you'll see from Brett Coker all season, too. He's a very, very good hitter.
Disgusting all the way around, but good stuff for Reimer. As there's now one away, Matt Shaw at the plate. And we might have a pickle. Great pickoff attempt, and the out at second. As Fugers tosses to Goldsmith. And that is an effective pickoff play.
That's where being a lefty works to your advantage. I mean, being a lefty works to your advantage in a lot of ways on the mound, but right there, that really deceptive pickoff move, he lifts his leg up, and Eblin at first thinks he's going home, so he takes off. But Reimer hadn't committed to go home, so on a dime, he can just throw right to first, easy rundown, and a big second out there.
Shaw, the 383 hitter, watches a breaking ball miss just a bit high, and that also allows the infield to shift a bit. We've seen more shifting as the season's progressed, and these coaches start to understand what opponents can do. But now Kip Fugers does not have to worry about holding a runner on base. Curveball again just misses. 2-0 from Reimer. 2 outs now. That last pitch, by the way, 69 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's a Zach Greinke-esque curveball right there. Maybe it's not, it's an off-speed pitch, but it's Greinke-esque nonetheless.
This time goes fastball, and what do you know, Shaw's ahead of it. So 2-1 with 2 outs. This is an inning that started with an Eblin single. Coker struck out, And to start off this at bat, Bryce Reimer just picked off Bryce Eblin.
So Bryce Eblin won the first round, but Bryce Reimer got back at him there.
I guess you can say Eblin won the battle, Reimer won the war. 2-1 delivery from the big lefty. Just misses away, ball 3.
Reimer really seems to be pitching backwards, at least here to Shaw. See, he's coming in with those, all 3 balls have been the off-speed pitches, then he comes back with the fastball.
2-0 Stallions, bottom of the first. 3-1 delivery with 2 outs from Reimer to the righty Shaw. Fastball upstairs, ball 4. And that'll be the second base run of the inning for the Mohawks.
Yeah, and that just makes the not the double play, excuse me, the pickoff look so much more important because now you only have 1 on and 2 out, whereas if you don't make that pickoff, you have 2 on and still just 1 out with the dangerous CJ Funk coming up to the plate. Funk 2 home runs and a .313 average coming in tonight.
He's been very consistent as the righty batter out of Pitt. First offering home. This is just away. 1-0 count. 2-0 Stallions, bottom of the first. With a win today, the Stallions will level the season series against Amsterdam at 3 wins apiece. Right now, it's a 3-2 lead for Amsterdam of the season. The Reimer readies in the 1-0, comes to the plate. And there's a strike inside corner, 1-1.
CJ Funk, with his stance, he gets really down low. Really crouches down.
He does.
Generates a lot of power out of his legs there. You see some stronger guy, bigger guys might be more upper half, but he looks like he's all legs with that swing.
1-1 is yanked foul to the third base out of play. And Reimer's ahead 1-2. And I have to say, I mean, for me, that would be like a stretch. He must be really flexible to be able to just consistently stand like that at the plate.
Yeah, and it's not like he's just squatting like that for a second or two.
Right.
He's down like that obviously for the whole at bat and playing every day for a year straight. That you got to be flexible to handle that. Those knees.
Reimer ready is on the 1-2 offering. 2 outs, bottom 1, grounder to short. Fielded by Renwick, flipped to Goldsmith at second, and that wraps up the bottom of the first. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base. Top of the second after this, 2-0, your Stallions in front of the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Top of the second, Caden Kendall tees things off for the Stallions, looking to build on this 2-0 lead in a battle of the 2 best teams in the PGCBL. Saugerties got on Patton early in the first as Kendall watches a strike at the knees. 0-1 count. John Gross, Dylan McGlynn with you on the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Stallions looking to win a 3rd straight game. Took down Amsterdam 2 days ago, won 8-3 against Oneonta last night as the 0-1 breaks down below the knees, 1-1. And tonight at Shuttleworth Park in front of a packed house.
Yeah, it really is. Great atmosphere tonight.
Yeah. Here's the 1-1 to the righty Kendall. Slap shot towards second. Meow is there. One away. Well, while we have a second, I want to give a big shout out to the Saugerties High School senior class. Tonight they are graduating. We had a whole bunch of them at the Stallions game a couple nights ago. Major accomplishment. Always a big accomplishment.
Huge step in life as they move on. Speaking of high school graduations, Schenectady High School had their graduation here this afternoon, and we just learned from an on-field announcement that Amsterdam High School has their graduation here at Shuttleworth tomorrow.
There you go. As Jack Renwick watches ball one away. Renwick, another guy who is really finding success in the batter's box. A .250 hitter, but his numbers have been upticking. Watches ball two down and outside at a fastball. One of the most impressive individual performances of the season was back on Sunday at Glens Falls. That was a game that Renwick was 4 for 5 with 2 singles and 2 triples and 5 RBI. Fastball, strike 2 and 1.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, he's a guy who got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's trending upwards. He's putting good swings on the ball, and he's a very smooth defender on the infield. So even if you're not hitting, there's always going to be a place for a guy like that. So, but obviously, it's always really good to see his bat come alive.
Renwick grounds this up the mound and elevates it towards short. Evelyn tossed on the move in time, 2 outs.
That play's a little bit tougher than it looks because it comes off that mound, especially with the turf mound. You never really know what kind of hop you're going to get. Luckily for Evelyn, it wasn't too difficult to handle, just kind of shot up in the air, and he was able to make the play.
Well, Patton on the mound looking to bounce back after giving up a pair to the Stallions at the top of the first. It's currently 2-0 Saugerties. Top 2 now, 2 outs for Albert Jennings. 175 hitter, but had a massive RBI single which tied the game a couple days ago here at Shuttleworth. It was a game the Stallions ended up losing 8-4, but I think the most surprising part of that hit was that Jennings was swinging on a 3-0 pitch, and it worked for him.
Yeah, he was, and obviously, I don't know how much the coaching staff enjoys that, but it worked out. Yeah, and he's a guy who's still looking to get it going, but at the same time, he's had some clutch hits. The one you just mentioned, the walk-off infield single against the Albany Dutchman a few weeks back. So even though he hasn't quite been having the season that he's wanted at the plate, he's still been able to produce in some big-time moments for the Stallions this year.
1-1 to Albert Jennings as Patton deals home. Fastball upstairs, 2-1. Gene Napolitano is on deck for Saugerties. And then top of the order. So already the Stallions working their way through the lineup quickly. We'll see if Jennings can avoid a 1-2-3 inning for the Stallions. 2-1's the count, righty to lefty. Patton kicks and deals. Jennings fans on it, 2-2.
Interesting. You talk about last inning. We talked how often Patton was using that fastball. Really threw it a lot. Yeah. Lots of fastballs here right now, especially to Jennings. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the off-speed, but at the same time, Jennings was way behind that fastball, so you don't really need to speed his bat up necessarily.
2-2, change up, a high one hopper to the mound. Patton comes off it, Fields throws to first in time, and the Stallions are sent down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. Bottom 2 after this, 2-0 Saugerties, the Stallions Broadcast Network. Bottom of the second, 2-0 Stallions in front of the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. As always, Stallions Baseball is brought to you by 5-Star Awards and Tees, Top Custom Team Gear Awards, Benson Steel, the Stallions Stolen Base sponsor. They put stuff up you can't knock down. Bob Garrick Septic, honest, dependable, reliable. If you needed it pumped out, call Bob. BP's Carpentry and Maintenance, Delvecchia and Craft Injury Lawyers, the Stallions Hit by Pitch sponsor. If you've been hit, call Delvecchia and Craft Injury Attorneys, and Dallas Hot Wieners, Stallions bullpen sponsor, bringing the hot sauce out of the bullpen. Keith Jones gets us started after a handful of cars were on the fields. You never know what you're going to see here at Shuttleworth Park.
No, it's almost like a circus here.
It is. I think that's a good way to
I mean that in a good way.
Big curve from Reimer in there for a strike on Keith Jones.
Yeah, and like PA announcer just mentioned, Keith Jones was last week's PGCBL Player of the Week.
Jones, a .340 hitter. 0-1. Fastball grounded off to third. Genther's there. He'll throw across, one down. And the second. Brings up Robbie Armitage. And you look back to that one-run win for the Stallions a couple days ago. That Andre Safont got the start in. In Afont's, 6 innings in that game, he allowed just 2 base runners to reach. Both times, it was Keith Jones.
Yeah, Keith Jones with a pair of hits. I believe those were the only 2 hits that Afont even allowed as well. Yeah, Keith Jones, a very good hitter. Just kind of tapped that one off the end of the bat there. So always nice if you can set down a guy like that without much stress.
So it's Armitage to the plate. First pitch, he sends foul to the first base side. And apologies if there's any audio issues. It is, for some reason, it just seems like the music in the PA here is just way louder than normal.
I believe they are, yeah. Obviously, we haven't seen the levels, but I would say that they definitely are pretty loud.
A 1 from Reimer. Settles into the outside corner for strike 2. And once again, Bryce Reimer working backwards. He's not a fastball-heavy guy. It seems like he loves to go with that off-speed.
Yeah, he really does. That's his bread and butter, and that's huge. I mean, when you have the confidence to throw that any pitch, it's really, really huge as a pitcher.
Now a fastball deep to right field. Back goes Wilhite, just shy of the wall. He'll make the grab, 2 outs.
We've talked about it already tonight, but the short corners in this park can really make routine fly balls like that just kind of stress you out. If you're on either team, really, when a ball goes up, anytime a ball really goes into the outfield here, you almost feel like in the back of your head that could be a home run.
Right. Off the bat, if it looks good, if it sounds good, there's a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you go dead center.
Kai Roberts to the plate, breaking ball in there for a strike. What do you know? It's that curve for Reimer. And according to Dylan's investigation, center field might be just 375, not 385. A 1, same pitch, same spot, same results. 0-2.
Yeah, that is just a great pitch, especially the first strike. If you can start an at-bat with that, I mean, how many guys come up, especially now at this level, looking for a first pitch curveball? Not many.
0-2 to Kai Roberts, who leads the team in strikeouts. Watch his pitch tail down and outside, 1-2.
Yeah, speaking of strikeouts, I missed out on the K-Man last night, so my perfect season ended after only guessing one person right.
You should have just retired after that night.
I should have. That was a good night. We got him twice.
We got him twice. Reimer, fastball lifted over our heads. And the count stays 1-2.
I know I called this play, I said it was like a circus. I feel like a fair would be a better description.
It's an experience, to say the least. 1-2 from Reimer. And that runs inside and just nailed Kai Roberts. So our first Delvecchia and Craft hit by pitch of the night. If you've been hit, call Delvecchia and Craft Injury Lawyers. Stallions still in front, 2-0. Bottom 2. With 2 outs.
Yeah, really unfortunate time to lose that ball and hit a man. Obviously 2 outs, bases empty. Inning was going great. It's been smooth sailing mostly for Reimer so far. So you just got to kind of buckle down here and put that at-bat behind you. Finney's not a guy who's really hit the ball well this season. 233 average on the year. Still just looking to get it going.
Lefty to righty. Finney sends this in the air to right field. And it's a fair ball off the fence. But Wilhite doesn't realize it. Wilhite's trotting over to the ball now. He'll throw it in. A run will score. It's an RBI triple. Fugers throws back to third. Not in time. I think Wilhite thought that was a foul ball as he just kind of stood there.
Yeah, I think he must have either thought it was foul or thought it was gone. Because, yeah, like you mentioned, he stood up against the fence for a second before realizing that that ball was still in play. I'm not too sure that it would have changed the outcome drastically. He might have been able to hold Finney to second base. But, I mean, either way there, a run was going to score.
Right, the run would have scored. And now Amsterdam on the board. So 2-0 Saugerties brings Cam Hill to the plate. That's in there for a strike. And it just goes to show the importance of finishing the job, especially against Amsterdam. This is a team that hits so well with 2 strikes. With 2 outs, they get a whole lot of runs with 2 outs. You have to finish them off. Reimer now ahead 0-1 of the lefty Cam Hill, who is 0 for 8 in his 3 games in a Mohawks uniform. Watches the curveball strike 2.
And that's where that hit by pitch again just comes back to bite you there. Got 2 outs and the base is empty before the hit by pitch, and then a triple from Finney.
Reimer from the third base side of the mound will step off. Time is called. You have the tying run on third and Finney. And Cam Hill at the plate. 0-2 count, 2 outs. Reimer looks to finish off the job in the second and limit Amsterdam to just 1 run instead of 2. Curveball grounded to center, and he won't be able to do it. A game-tying RBI single, and we're deadlocked at 2.
Went with that big slow breaking ball. This one just caught too much of the plate, a little bit up. Not super hard hit, but a bit of a seeing eye single there, just pushes it up the middle. And with 2 outs, that'll do the job.
Sends us to the bottom of the order, and Stone Meow, the 3-0-2 batter. The Mohawks have scored 2 runs with 2 outs to tie things. Lefty-lefty, fastball is high, 1-0. Couple shout-outs. We have Wendell Garrett tuned in, Arnold's and Ruth Gross, and watching from rainy Tampa, Florida, Alan Cohn. Big thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Reimer checks back to first, looks back once more, kicks the deals to the plate, lifted back over our heads, and a 1-1 count now to Stone Meow out of Hawaii.
Yeah, and Meow in the first inning had that throwing error at second base that allowed the second run for the Stallions to come across and score. So even though they did come back and tie the game here, you know he wants to make up for that and drive some runs in here. But with a guy in first, you're going to have to find a gap.
1-1 with a runner on first. Reimer kicks and fires, taking off to second is Hill. Here's the throw, and it's not in time. A successful stolen base for Cam Hill, who is on base for the first time this year via hit.
Well, now Meow doesn't necessarily have to find a gap to drive in that run. Really important pitch here for Reimer behind 2-1. Really want to come back with a strike.
Reimer looks back at second at the 2-1. Hill took a really big jump, and now Reimer's going to step off.
Yeah, you saw Hill take a couple big hops towards third base. Jack Renwick at short was right behind him. Reimer gave him a look, which forced him back a little bit, but that's something to watch out for.
2-2 game, bottom of the second. Amsterdam has thus far scored 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of this inning. And the 2-1 works the outside corner with a fastball from Reimer, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, right there, that is just such a good pitch. You had to come back with a strike. You don't want to fall behind 3-1, but you also don't want to groove one to him. And so he dots the outside corner with a great fastball right there. Just the perfect pitch in that situation.
2's all around, 2-2, 2 outs. As Meow lifts this to left center, and that drops in for a base knock in front of a sprinting Kendall. The run will score, and wow, what a different game this is. 3-2 on the RBI single by Stone Meow.
Well, the last out is always the hardest one to get in an inning, and for Bryce Reimer, it's been pretty difficult here in the second.
And we'll have to do some calculations, but the amount of runs that Amsterdam has scored on the Stallions with 2 outs this year.
Yeah.
That's single-handedly led to multiple victories for the Mohawks.
Yeah, you talked about the 10-4 win when the Mohawks put up 7 runs in the 7th inning. All of those runs came with 2 outs.
Top of the order now, Bryce Eblin is 1 for 1 with a single, takes a curveball for a strike.
I mean, if you're Reimer in this situation, you know, this has not been a good inning, but at the same time, your team's only down 1. You have to just minimize the damage as best you can here. Just get Eblin and get back to the dugout.
A 1 from Reimer, lefty to lefty. Meow leads off at first. Grounder under the glove of Reimer into center. Meow's going to round second. He'll head over to third. And Meow's being sent to the plate. Relay throw home. But Napolitano did not apply the tag of the runner coming home. Now a throw to second is not in time. Everybody's safe. 4-2. Amsterdam in front. And I don't know what just happened.
That's just not good field awareness there from the Stallions. You saw in center field, it was Kendall. He kind of took his time getting the ball, and you saw third base coach, as soon as he noticed that, he waved Meow around. And then again, behind the dish with Napolitano, he could have applied the tag and had a chance to get him out. Decided to go back to second, and a good throw. Even then, a good throw to second probably gets him.
I'd say so. I mean, I just don't understand how Meow came home from first, and he singled to center field.
Yeah, I mean, he was going first to third all the way. It was kind of into no man's land a little bit in center field, so Kendall had to come a little bit. He's playing kind of, you see where he's standing right now. He's playing kind of far back, so he had to come in a little bit to get that ball, and then he just kind of took it. I don't think of course, he didn't expect Meow to come around third to score, so he kind of just lobbed the ball in, and while that ball's in the air, that's valuable time that Meow was using to get down the baseline.
And I'm with you. I thought Napolitano would have had plenty of time to apply the tag. I don't know why
it looked like he
threw it down to second.
No, yeah, it looked like he could have just turned and put the tag on him to end the inning. I think, yeah, even with the gaffe by Kendall, they still would have had him, I thought.
2 outs to Brent Coker, went fishing in that pitch. And again, all 4 runs coming with 2 outs. At one point, we had 2 outs with 2 strikes on Kai Roberts this inning. Then he was hit by a pitch. And everything's blown up since then. 4-2 Amsterdam, bottom of the second. 0-1 from Reimer, checks back at second, now fires to the plate, and it's tipped back foul by Coker.
A lot of fireworks in the area.
Yeah.
Had those last time we were here, too.
It's a lot of celebration. Maybe celebrating the high school graduates, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Could be. 0-2 from Reimer. Going to finish off the job in the second. The pitch home, in the air to right field. Will Height trots 3 steps to his right, under it, and finally ends the inning. Amsterdam puts up 4 runs, all 4 coming with 2 outs, and we head to the top of the third. 4-2 Mohawks and the Stallions Broadcast Network. Top of the third, Saugerties now trailing 4-2 against the Amsterdam Mohawks from Shuttleworth Park. Stallions baseball is brought to you by Design Yourself Strong Sports Performance at DYS. They build better athletes. Dwyer Contracting, high-quality craftsmanship and a family-owned business. And Ephros Orthodontics, the Stallions' smile provider. 10-1-2 for Saugerties. Gene Napolitano leads off, takes a fastball high. 1-0. Well, Dylan, after that 4-run inning the Stallions just allowed, you kind of get the sense they need to snatch the momentum back here in the top of the third.
Yeah. To be blunt, I think that was probably the worst defensive inning we've seen from the Stallions all around, all season long.
Yeah, fastball outside 2-0. I'm completely with you.
Yeah, just some pretty brutal mental errors, really. Will Height in right field, Kendall in center, and then Napolitano behind the dish. It's three players just making mistakes that shouldn't be made, but at the same time, you're only down 2, and there's a lot of game to go. So you have a situation where you come back, you score some runs, you win this game, and everybody forgets about that second inning.
Yeah. So after the 2-0 pitch bounces to the turf. Now with 3-0 count to Napolitano. It would be huge if the Stallions can respond with some runs. Like you said, Dylan, trailing by just 2 runs despite giving up 4. Fastball at the letters, 3-1, and it was, and honestly, I don't think you could put all that in Reimer. Of course, you'd love to see him maybe strike out some guys, but he pitched strikes. Besides the hit by pitch, he pitched strikes, and his field just did not back him up. It was uncharacteristic of the Stallions. Now a hitter's count 3-1 to Napolitano. Fastball at the knees, full count.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pitch, 3-1. You saw Napolitano kind of wiggle back and forth, just dot the edge there. And again, a huge pitch coming here to Napolitano because in a situation where you need runs, getting the leadoff man on is the easiest way to start the inning.
Full count offering is high, and Napolitano will trot down to first. So for the second time tonight, the Stallions start off an inning.
The extra hitter, Nick Iverson.
Brings up Nick Iverson.
Yeah, Iverson came in and instantly from day one made a huge impression with his defense. He is incredible in the field. We've seen him play third. We've seen him play short. We've seen him we've seen him play third and second. We've seen him practice as short. He is just so smooth. He makes a ton of really impressive plays.
Iverson showed bunt and nearly got nailed in the head. Able to lean back away from it, 1-0 count, and he's really been impressive, especially as his time has gone on at Saugerties at the plate. Last night was 2 for 4, had a couple stolen bases.
Yeah, with a guy like him, the defense is the main attraction, basically. And then the hitting is a bonus, but he's no slouch at the plate at all. He's a good hitter.
Yeah, kind of guy you want at the top of the order. Good back, good eye, good speed. As Napolitano leads off at first again, pickoff attempt back unsuccessful. If you look back to the first inning, the Stallions started off with Iverson getting out, then Gunnar Goldsmith getting on. That really was the catalyst for 2 runs coming across for Saugerties. 1-0 misses inside, ball 2.
Yeah, and it seems like, at least just to these first 2 at-bats, that Patton is kind of working around the zone a little bit here. And, yeah, right on cue, we're going to get a mound visit.
So Patton struggling with his command, and I do want to correct something I said earlier. This is just the first inning that the Stallions are starting off with a base runner. Top of the first, started with a ground out by Iverson. So Napolitano on. We'll see if Saugerties can move him around. With Iverson at the plate now, a mound visit to Cole Patton, who it's only been 2 innings for Patton, but he's already allowed the most runs he's allowed this entire season.
Yeah, and that's what can happen when you're off to a great start. And that's why keeping an ERA that low is so difficult to maintain, which really makes what Jacob deGrom is doing this season so impressive, because you come in and you have one outing where they get 3-4 runs and your ERA just skyrockets. And I mean, and you talked about it with Patton. He's only given up 2 runs, but because his ERA was under 1, anytime you give up a run, your ERA is going to go up pretty noticeably.
He only gave up 1 run. It came against the Stallions in 11 2/3 innings pitched entering tonight. Now a 2-0 count to Iverson with Napolitano on first. Fastball was in there. Iverson taps it back 2-1.
That's the thing you're looking for as a coach when you come out after you make a mound visit. The first pitch is always the one that I look for. So that shows me that, whatever they said, it might be working.
2-1 to Iverson, slides across the outer edge, 2-2. Gunnar Goldsmith on deck. Gunnar, he was walked in the first, came around to score. 4-2 Amsterdam. The Stallions put up 2 runs at the top of the first. Amsterdam just dropped a 4 spot in the bottom of the second. All 4 runs for the Mohawks came with 2 outs. Napolitano on first. 2-2 to Iverson. Lifted to shallow center. Jones takes him about 10 steps in, under it. 1 out.
And if you're Iverson there, that's a frustrating at bat because they know the situation. We've been talking that it's important for them to come back and get runs. They obviously know that as well. So when you get the leadoff guy on, Iverson comes up. He knows he's got a big chance to kind of get the team going. Got ahead 2-0, and then just couldn't finish off the AB.
Well, it's the switch hitting Gunnar Goldsmith to the plate against the righty Patton, who once more throws back to first. Maybe he's just trying to work on his pickoff move, because this is without a doubt the most I've seen anyone trying to pick off first base this entire season.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would exactly bank on Napolitano stealing second in this situation either.
No, he's not taking that big of a lead.
No, and we saw Patton right there. He just hopped off the mound after that throw because he wants that call. I mean, some of these are pretty close. To credit to Napolitano for taking the perfectly sized lead. If you just get in there ahead of time, that's like kind of where you want to be in terms of your lead.
First pitch tails high. 1-0 from the righty out of Seton Hall. Fritz Genther's on deck, but for now it's Gunnar Goldsmith at the plate. Looking to generate some offense. On first is Napolitano. Stallions in the hole for the first time tonight. Fastball outside, 2-0.
And again, 3 straight batters here that Patton has fallen behind to start this inning.
2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. And a runner on first, 4-2 Amsterdam. In the top of the third. The pitch home is lined back to the netting. And off the net, caught by Fritz Genther. That's a nice catch.
Fritz Genther definitely has he has fun playing baseball, big time. Obviously sat down next to the on-deck circle last time we were here because obviously you were on the call with our friend Jake Starr. He has fun. He doesn't take it he takes it seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously.
That's the way to do it. 2-1 pitch home, high and away. Now hitters count to Goldsmith, 3-1.
Yeah, exactly the situation you want to be in if you're Gunnar Goldsmith. At the same time, he walked on 5 pitches his first at-bat as well, so it'd be interesting to see how Patton tries to attack him here with a 3-1 count.
3-1 delivery from Patton. Just on the outer edge. Goldsmith thought he had ball 4, but it was not the case. Now a big full count offering. 1 away, Stallions down by 2. And again, it's early, but you cannot overemphasize the importance of this inning. The Stallions let things slip away in the bottom of the second. Now looking to bounce back. Full count pitch. Patton kicks and delivers. Missed away. Ball 4, first and second for the Stallions.
That is a great take. That is not an easy pitch to take on a full count.
Third baseman, Fritz Genther.
So Gunnar Goldsmith showing off a great pair of eyes and some great plate discipline. 2 walks and 2 trips so far.
Well, let's see what Fritz Genther can do, because as we talked about earlier, he's starting to get that bat going. He is 1 for 1 with a single. It was a single straight up the middle, and so you might be able to see on your screen, middle infield playing fairly tight to second. First offering to the righty Genther is low.
Yeah, Fritz Genther came into tonight's game batting .244 on the year. Picked up his 12th hit of the season in the first inning. And a chance to do some damage. Talked about him still looking for that first RBI. He's got a runner in scoring position here.
4-2, Amsterdam leading, top 3. Patton focused back on second, now to the plate, and Genther calls time.
And we've seen that a few times from both sides. Just really prolonged looks at the base runners, which leads to the batter calling time. It's happened. It's happened to Patton more than once, and it's happened to Reimer a couple times as well.
And I don't mind it. If you're a batter, you want
Yeah.
the pitcher to be working under your time.
Exactly. It's all everything is under the pitcher's time on the mound. So as the batter, you're looking for any way you can to kind of control the pace of play.
Patton steps off. And Napolitano easily back into second, no throw.
It looked like he fooled him a bit with that move, but then there was just nobody covering second base. So yeah, I still think Napolitano would have gotten back, but with nobody on second, he didn't even have a chance.
1-0 pitch home. Genther fans of the fastball. 1-1 count, 1 out. First and second for the Stallions. Fritz 1 for 1. Also scored a run back in the first. Napolitano on second, Goldsmith in first. The 1-1 offering is lifted out to right, tailing foul, and that'll end up out of play. 1-2.
Yeah, and you saw Genther kind of hit his bat in a little bit of frustration there. He thought that was a good pitch to hit, just a little bit behind on it.
Facing a pitcher in Patton, who has been consistent, low to mid-90s all night long. I think he topped out at 95, at least according to the radar gun.
Yeah, I do
that we
believe
see on the scoreboard.
that we saw 95 up on the board, which is very helpful.
It is
to have that there.
I like it. 1-2 to Fritz Genther. Takes away 2-2.
Obviously, the Stallions aren't going to be satisfied if they come out of this inning empty-handed, but there's still been some really good at-bats so far in this inning from the Stallions hitters.
Really good plate discipline so far. 2-2 count to Genther. The pitch home, drilled foul, and it keeps this at-bat going.
Courtney Chase. Courtney Chase. Please come to the beer tent.
Napolitano on second
Courtney
walk,
Chase
as
to the beer
did
tent.
Goldsmith on first. It's Genther at the dish, and Fugers on deck. 4-2 Amsterdam, top three. Patton sets, fires home, lifted foul, and out of play again down the first base side. So Genther continues to be just a little bit late on these pitches.
Yeah, he is. And, I mean, he's putting up a good fight here, but
Yeah.
he's getting at some fastballs that he's behind on, and that's the pitch you have to be on time with. Especially with a guy like Patton, where he's throwing, like 80% fastballs. At least it seemed that way.
Patton peers in to his catcher, Finney. Now set to the chest, looks back at second, offers the 2-2 to Genther, skips it to the dirt, full count.
Yeah, that's a really good take because, like we just said, he's thrown a lot of fastballs in a row, came back with the breaking ball. That can be a tough pitch to lay off because just how much it changes your eye level, it changes your timing. So for Genther there, you can go from being way behind to being way out in front, but he did a really nice job to just kind of spit on that and take it in the dirt.
Genther and his Nike cleats standing all the way back in the box. So this 3-2 pitch with 1 out. Patton fires off the back of Genther, and Fritz Genther is down on one knee. And now he's up and walking.
Yeah, it looked like he went with, not sure what he went with there, but whatever it was, he lost
First
command of
baseman
that
from
pitch
Indiana,
totally.
Kent Fugers.
And
I think that it's showing 92. I think
Yeah.
that was a fastball. It got him square on the back. And that'll load the bases.
not something you see often from Patton. He's a guy with pretty good command. And now bases loaded, 1 out with Kip Fugers at the plate. These are the situations that the Stallions live for as an offensive team. So these are the times where you have to come through. You have to find a way to at least get a run across here.
Bases are loaded with Stallions, and Kip Fugers at the plate. Saugerties in a 2-run hole, fastball down below the knees, 1-0. Yeah, like you said, these are the situations, especially with a guy like Fugers, you need to bring home at least something. Bases loaded, a 1-0 offering, righty to righty with 1 out. Stallions trail by 2 in the third, as Fugers dances back, pitch misses inside, 2-0.
And again, the command this inning has kind of just coming and going for Pat, and we've seen him lose his own a little bit at times as Finney will come out and talk to him. But then we've seen him, at least in the middle of that Fritz Genther at bat, he was pretty consistently throwing strikes.
Right.
With the fastball, which now seems to have gotten away from him after he hit Genther, and now 2 straight fastballs that have missed here to Fugers.
And it's been a tale of two stories, like you said. The fastball was working for him in the first, but then again, the Stallions were hitting it better when they saw some pitches in the zone. Now patient at the plate. A 2-0 count to Fugers, probably expecting something good. Bases are loaded for the Stallions' top batter. The 2-0 home from the righty is tap back foul, 2-1.
I don't want to second guess Kip Fugers here, but 2-0 right there, it's a really good time to just get the take sign all the way. With the bases loaded, he's kind of spotty with the command. If you get into a 3-ball count here, he has to come to you and give you basically a good pitch to hit.
2-1 to Fugers, in at the knees, 2-2. Napolitano on third, he walked. Goldsmith on second, he walked. And Genther, who appears to be okay, leads off at first after being hit in the back by a pitch. Now a 2-2 count to Kip Fugers. With one out and the Stallions trailing by 2 in the top of the third. The offering home gets Fugers swinging and missing. 2 outs.
It looks like he's taken a little bit off the fastball. Those last two, 89. He got back up to 92 there, but then we saw a couple fastballs that were 89, 90, 89 again. So it seems like he's trying to take a little bit off just to make sure he can throw strikes. And then with two strikes, a 2-2 count there, he wasn't afraid to kind of speed it up because he knows he still had a ball to work with in that situation.
Bases loaded for Tyler Kelder. A chance to change this game once more for the Stallions. Trailing by 2 in the third. And what's been a seesaw affair despite an early game as Patton steps off. Napolitano on third. Goldsmith second. Genther on first. And Tyler Kelder at the plate. Righty-righty, Patton looks in. 4-2 Amsterdam, top 3. Patton set to the belts. Now kicks and fires. His first offering is smashed out to center. Back goes Hill, and he's under it to wrap up the inning. Kelder hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark, and he is retired. So the Stallions strand the bases loaded as we head to the bottom of the third. 4-2 Amsterdam on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Bottom of the third, Stallions down by 2. Let's sound it downfield side to our sideline reporter tonight, Michael Gross.
Gentlemen, thank you. Bryce Reimer on the mound tonight was probably going to be around 60 or 70 pitches. He's definitely up in the 40s, maybe close to that 50 range. So if he gets into trouble in this inning, this could be his last inning. But I want to talk really quickly about Andrew Wilhite's, well, we can call it misplay out in right field. It almost looked from our angle down on the field that it was a foul ball, although it must have kicked fair, and it must have been fair when it bounced. And so Wilhite, I guess, just didn't realize. He thought it was foul. I thought it was foul too. So, you know, it happens, and that's why we're in summer ball. But at the end of the day, it's still only a 2-run game. They did put 2 up in the top of the first inning, and, you know, they're only down by 2. It's anybody's game from here on out. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Bottom 3, 4-2 Amsterdam. Bryce Reimer remains in the mound. His first pitch was outside. Second pitch to Matt Shaw catches him swinging and missing, 1-1. And that play by Wilhite, again, probably would have scored a run, but just strange. He just, stood there.
Just a mental miscue. I mean, even if you think the ball's foul, you don't know until you hear the ump.
Shaw gets a good piece of this to right center, but not nearly deep enough. Kendall ranges to his left, and he has it for the first down. And a tough thing as well, you look at the right field area where
From Pittsburgh,
where
CJ.
Will Height was. The foul pole is hidden by an advertisement.
Yeah.
So he may not have noticed whether it was fair or foul, but you still have to keep playing, obviously.
Yeah. The big thing is until the ump tells you the ball is dead, you have to act like it's live all the time.
CJ Funk to the plate, watches a breaking ball off the heart of the plate. 1. 4-2 Amsterdam. All 4 runs for the Mohawks came with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. It was a 2-out situation where actually there were 2 strikes and the bases empty on Kai Roberts before he was hit by a pitch. Lefty to righty, Reimer fastball fell back 0-2.
Yeah, when you face this Mohawks offense, you're never out of trouble. It seems like they always have a runner in scoring position, even when the bases are empty, because they can so quickly put together a rally like they did last inning.
Reimer ahead quickly 0-2, looking to work through this inning with a pace. Grounder left side of the infield, Genther moving to his left, throws across the diamond in time, 2 outs.
Really nice play there by Fritz Genther, moving to his left. So it kind of almost snow coned that one, kind of got it right at the edge of his glove. Did not have time to set his feet at all, so he was immediately able to get that one away, and a good throw. Good, really nice, strong throw there. And again, with 2 outs and the bases empty, this is a situation you talk about. You can't let up a lefty-lefty matchup. There's nobody on base.
Yep.
Jones is a very good hitter. Everyone behind him, they're also very good hitters. You can't let up at any point against this team.
Keith Jones takes a fastball strike on the outer edge of the plate. Jones 0 for 1 with the ground out to third. Lefty to lefty, Jones swipes the plate, now rests the bat over his left shoulder. 4-2 Amsterdam with 2 outs, the 0-1 offering. Curveball drops into the knees. 0-2 from Bryce Reimer. And that curveball has been really consistent today.
Yeah, it has. We talked about last inning. He got let down by the defense. He got hit around a little bit, a lot of hard hit balls, but the one thing that's been consistent is that curveball.
0-2 from Bryce. He goes curve once more, and it stays consistent. Totally fooled Jones as he took a big hack and couldn't make contact. And we will head to the top of the 4th. Bryce Reimer of the Stallions set down the Mohawks 1-2-3 through 3. It's 4-2 Amsterdam of the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Dylan McGlynn and John Gross here in the top of the 4th inning. Tonight's game brought to you by Grist Mill Realty. Looking to sell? List with Grist Mill. Halter Associates Realty. Make the right move with Halter. Hell's Mortal Realty and Insurance, the official sponsor of Stallions Insurance Runs. And iMedView Incorporated, independent medical review, world-class results, and local connections. Here in the top of the 4th, Andrew Wilhite will lead us off. We just heard from our sideline reporter, Mike Gross, about his adventure in right field a few innings ago, looking to get something going with the bat here as he takes outside for a ball, 1-0.
And again, I think the important thing to note, as we've said a couple times since that inning, you're only down by 2.
Yeah.
If this is a 4-0 game, it's one thing. It's a 4-2 game. Plenty of baseball left to be played.
1-0 pitch to Wilhite is upstairs, and now the count is 2-0. Cole Patton back out for his 4th inning of work here. Gave up 2 in the first, but he's held the Stallions scoreless since. Patton set, kicks the 2-0. Grounded hard to first. Backing up is Roberts, makes the play, throwing to the bag, and it gets away. The throw was wide of Patton. He leaned over to, couldn't grab it. Really nice job by the catcher, Jackson Finney, to back that play up. Keeps Will Height at first, but it's going to be an error on the first baseman, Kai Roberts, and the Stallions have the leadoff man on.
Hey, and you take it any way you can get a guy in base, you have to do it. And that's good hustle by Will Height. Able to move pretty well out of the box. Good things happen when you put the ball in play and you put pressure on the fields.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at a level like this. You talked about, how 3 true outcomes and all that in the MLB, but in Major League Baseball, that's the best of the best. You hit a routine ball, that play's going to be made 9.9 out of 10 times, but here, it's not a guarantee.
No.
At least not on the level that is. Caden Kendall stands in, first pitch bounces, and again, Jackson Finney with a nice play as he dropped down to block that one. Count 1-0.
And a big stat to monitor anytime the Stallions play Amsterdam. Have to limit those strikeouts at the plate. As we just said, you have to put balls in play. Last time out, the Stallions won, struck out just 9 times.
And throw over to first, and that one gets away. Past Roberts, and Will Height's going to move up to second. So Roberts reached on a Will Height reached on a throwing error by Roberts, and now he moves up to second on a throwing error from Patton.
And Dylan, you've been leading into that all game. All these pickoff attempts to first. You figure at a certain point, one of these throws might get away from Roberts, and that one did. A low throw from Patton, and with no outs, Saugerties is a runner in scoring position.
So an E1 on Cole Patton, Will Height at second. The 1-0 pitch, grounded hard to short, picked out. Nice play by Evelyn, and the throw to first in time for out number 1.
Evelyn is so smooth at short. We've seen him play now in a few games. I don't think I've seen him make one mistake in the field. He's really consistent shortstop.
Yeah, he is, and obviously shortstop, such an important position. You want one of your better defenders there, and a nice play. Keeps Will Height at second base as well, so with 1 out, that'll bring up Jack Renwick, who also grounded out to Bryce Evelyn his first time. Patton comes set, Will Height taking his lead. The first pitch right by the swing of Renwick, 0-1.
And another chance for the Stallions to get some more runs on the board. You look back last inning, had a couple runners on, had bases loaded with just 1 out, couldn't drive anyone home. Now you have a runner in scoring position. It was with no outs. Now with 1 out, you have to capitalize.
The 0-1 fouled straight back, and now the count 0-2. And now, with an 0-2 count, not only does Renwick have to find a way to just keep the at-bat going, but ideally, you'd like him at least to get a ball to the right side of the field to advance Will Height over to third. Patton comes set, gives Will Height a look. Now looking back home, the 0-2 is grounded to third. Coker comes over, makes the play, throw to first in time. Close play, but he got him. And now there's 2 down for the left fielder, Albert Jennings. And
again, just a couple ground outs, just balls that were hit where the left side of the infield was. A couple nice plays by Eplin and Coker respectively. And now it comes down to Albert Jennings. Big spot for Albert, still early in this game, but gonna need some runs when you get runners in scoring position early in innings.
Yeah, it really seems like every time these two teams play, it feels like a playoff game.
It does.
First pitch to Jennings is inside, 1-0.
And in reality, it kind of is, because I think these two teams are playing to be the best team in the PGCPL. It's pretty clear that these are the 2 best teams in the league. Every game is just of the utmost importance.
Yeah, they certainly have been the 2 best in the league so far, as the 1-0 is a fastball right there, and the count even, 1-1.
And barring something crazy happening with Albany, these are the 2 teams who are going to battle for the East Division title.
Yeah. And by that time, they're going to be extremely familiar with each other. 1-1 pitch to Jennings, down low, 2-1.
And you also know you're going to see a good baseball game.
Yeah,
right?
you are.
You don't see a ton of blowouts between these 2 sides.
Even the ones sorry to interrupt, but yeah, even the ones that have 10-4 loss, the 8-4 loss, those were both much closer than the score made them seem.
They were tied entering the 7th, both games.
Yeah. 2-1 pitch. Went with a changeup outside, and the count 3-1.
And even a walk here would be nice for Jennings. Just get on base, keep the line moving.
Yeah, just anything to get that confidence going. Like we mentioned, Jennings, a guy, despite coming up in some big spots, has struggled overall at the plate. Patton comes set. The 3-1 pitch is outside, just outside. A good take from Jennings, and he draws a walk to keep the top of the 4th alive. So runners now first and second. That'll bring up the catcher, Gene Napolitano.
Looks like we'll get some action in the Amsterdam bullpen. I think this will be Patton's last inning. I think there's good and bads in that for the Stallions. The good is that, he's a guy who throws hard, and when he's on, he's tough to hit. But the bad is he's given up free 90s. He's given Saugerties chances to drive guys home. They just haven't been able to do so. So this is a game that, like a bunch of games have between these two sides, is going to come down to the bullpen.
Yeah. So many games in this league really come down to the bullpen, especially when you consider starters don't really tend to go super deep into games in this league, as the first pitch to Napolitano misses 1-0.
No. Coaches are fairly reluctant to put guys in for longer than 4 or 5 innings, especially early in the season.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously you will see some guys get stretched out as the year goes on. 1-0 pitch to Napolitano upstairs, and now the count 2-0. Yeah, and like you mentioned, Patton, 2 runs through 3 2/3 so far to this point, but he's worked himself out of a few jams. The Stallions have threatened. Left a runner on in the first, left 2 on in the second, 2 on here in the third as well, or in the fourth, excuse me. The 2-0 misses, and now 3-0 on Napolitano. Napolitano walked his first time as well. 1 pitch away from drawing another one.
Yeah, the take sign is on here. No doubt about it. No reason to swing.
Patton comes set. Runners at first and second, 2 down. The 3-0 pitch is right down the middle. And like you said, Napolitano taking all the way, and the count 3-1. That's a situation where for Patton, too, he's taking. So you have basically the free pass to just throw one free and easy right down the middle.
No pressure. No pressure for Patton. Now you have to put in something good if you're Patton.
Yep, the 3-1 hit well, left field down the line. That ball is going to hook. Is it fair? No call, and now the field ump signals foul. So the count full, 3-2. Hit it well. It was a little bit late, and it just faded at the end into foul territory. At the distance.
Barely, ever so slightly. And I don't know I think if there's a foul pole that extends higher than the one here does, because here there's just an invisible foul pole that extends upwards. I think if there's an actual foul pole, that might have hit the foul pole.
Yeah, that was as close as you can get here down that left field line, that 25-foot fence and left here at Shuttleworth Park. Nonetheless, the count is now full, 3-2. The runners will both be off on the pitch. Patton comes set. Looks at Will Height, and now we'll look him back to second base. Interesting, he's focused on the runners a lot tonight, but especially with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. Really interesting to see him kind of take his focus away from the at-bat.
Well, I guess he knew that both runners are going to be going. Maybe he figured trying to pick him off instead, pitching home.
Another 3-2 coming. That one down low, ball 4. And for the second straight inning, Patton has loaded the bases.
And he's loaded the bases with free 90s. It's been all walks this inning. Now Keith Griffin's going to come out to the mound. And we may see a pitching change.
I believe we will.
Yep.
So that's going to do it for Cole Patton. He goes 3 2/3, allowing 2 runs. But with 2 outs in the innings, he's responsible for all 3 men on as the Stallions have the bases loaded. And they will face a new pitcher here in the top of the 4th. When we return, you're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. back here at Shuttleworth Park, top of the 4th inning, and a big spot in this game with the Stallions having the bases loaded and 2 down. Nick Iverson at the plate, and he will be the first batter to face Dylan Carmouche, big left-hander out of Mississippi State, trying to strand 3 runners on and protect a 4-2 lead for the Mohawks. And he comes set. First pitch to Iverson is a strike, and the count 0-1.
And final line for Patton Dillon was 3 2/3, 2 hits, 5 walks, 1 strikeout. We're still trying to wait for this inning to end before we tack on the runs.
Carmouche, the 0-1 outside, and the count 1-1.
But overall, not a great start for Cole Patton. Gave up a lot of free 90s, but besides that first inning, he did not allow any other runs.
Yeah, as it stands right now, he is still in line for the win, too. A 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase one down low there, and the count 1-2.
And it's big for Carmouche on the mound now out of Mississippi State to be attacking the strike zone early. He's a guy who in 11 2/3 has walked 9 batters. Been a little erratic with his command.
The 1-2 struck him out. Iverson chases a ball upstairs to end the inning. For the 2nd inning in a row, the Stallions strand the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Mohawks lead 4-2. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network here at Shuttleworth Park. Mohawks leading 4-2 in the bottom of inning number 4. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by IXL Health and Fitness Club, keeping the Stallions fit all season long. J. Mullins & Sons Incorporated, masonry, excavation, building, and a whole lot more. Jim Hallwick Seamless Gutters, protect your home with Jim Hallwick and Jolly Cow, the Jolly Cow in Lake Katrine, because everybody loves ice cream. Robbie Armitage leading off against Bryce Reimer, who's back out for his 4th inning of work here at Shuttleworth Park, as the first pitch is that big, slow curveball that just drops in there for a strike.
Huge for Reimer it would be huge for Reimer if he can get out of this inning without letting up more runs. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, as this game progresses, but the Stallions are getting chances. Now the pitchers have to keep the runs off the board for Amsterdam.
That one popped up high on the infield. Couple of players converging. Futures calling everybody off, and it's Kip Futures at first base, making the catch for out number 1.
Good way to start, and that's big. That's communication. If you look back earlier in the year, we saw a couple instances where guys in this team weren't talking on a high pop fly in the infield. That time, Futures talks. I think that also comes with time playing together. You get to know each other. You know whose voice is whose, and when a position player calls for the ball like that, like Futures did, it's his ball, and he made the play.
Big swing and a miss from Kai Roberts on a curveball, and the count 0-1. And yeah, the other thing with that too, maybe you're a quieter guy. If you're kind of a shy person and you don't know your teammates, you might be more hesitant to kind of be that vocal person. But it seems like this team is really settled in, and like you mentioned, we've seen a lot more of that communication on the field lately. As Reimer goes back to the curveball, but that one misses, and the count even 1-1.
And it's so important. Communication is massive in baseball.
Yeah.
It really is in every sport. And I think it's under-discussed how important it is in baseball, but you have to be able to talk, especially in plays like that.
1-1 from Reimer. Fastball in there, and the count 1-2.
I think you mostly think basketball, football, communication's crucial, but baseball, it's just as important.
Yeah, it's right up there with the other sports. Reimer kicks and deals. The 1-2 just got a piece and tapped it foul. Had Roberts fooled, but he was just able to get some wood on that one to keep the at-bat alive.
Roberts was the guy who sparked that second inning rally, and it wasn't anything of his own doing. He was just hit by a pitch on this exact count, 1-2.
Another 1-2 coming from Reimer as he kicks, deals, and again, Roberts fouls it out of play. And Kai Roberts, he's one of those guys who has come a very long way to be in this league. University of Utah. He's a Utah native.
The Utes.
Out here in Amsterdam, New York this summer as another 1-2 is hit pretty well to left field. That's caught by Albert Jennings a few steps in front of the wall. And that's out number 2 here in the 4th.
It's a good play by Jennings. That's not an easy play to make off the bat, especially it's a pretty hard-hit ball towards the gap, but he chased after it and made the play, which it's good to see for Albert because you look back a few days ago here in Amsterdam, he dropped a ball that he probably should have caught in a very similar situation to that, so able to respond better.
So with 2 outs and the base is empty, that'll bring up the catcher, Jackson Finney. As the first pitch from Reimer, check swing, and he went around. And it was a called strike anyways, the count 0-1.
Reimer not away from back-to-back 1-2-3 innings.
Reimer deals the 0-1 swing and a miss, and then the count 0-2. And again, that's just how that curve. Reimer's not a guy who's throwing hard. That was 83 miles an hour, but he blew it by Finney because of the pitch before.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you start off at bats with a curveball or with an off-speed pitch in general. It just makes your fastballs look that much quicker.
0-2 from Reimer outside, 1-2.
And even when a guy's not throwing hard, it's all about setting up your pitches. And even if you are a guy who throws in the 90s, you still have to be able to set up pitches because if you can't, guys are going to be sitting fastball and they're going to be all over that pitch.
Reimer set, and the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. So another 1-2-3 inning for Bryce Reimer. He has set down the last 7 batters he's faced. And we go to the 5th at Shuttleworth Park. Mohawks on top, 4-2. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Stallions Broadcast Network. We're here at Shuttleworth Park in Amsterdam as the Amsterdam Mohawks have a 4-2 lead over the Stallions. About to begin the top of the 5th, and tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Lineman Institute of the Northeast. Climb to a successful career. Main Street Restaurant, voted the best Mexican restaurant, in the Hudson Valley. Speaking of the Hudson Valley, Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit the official strikeout sponsor for the Stallions, and Mirabella's Restaurant. Perfect for friends and family tonight and every night. So if you can't go tonight, well, there's good news because you can go any other night.
Yeah.
Set to lead off here in the top of the fourth is Gunnar Goldsmith, a switch hitter. Took his first 2 at-bats from the left side of the box against the right-handed Cole Patton. But with the left-handed Dylan Carmouche on the mound, we will see Gunnar from the right-handed batter's box for the first time tonight. And a little bit of delay here as we were waiting for those James Chevrolet cars to get off the field.
And not the only delay we've had tonight. The game started, 11 minutes late tonight?
Yeah, I believe 10 or 11 minutes. And then when we were here on Wednesday, on Tuesday we were here. Game started 16 minutes late. First pitch to Goldsmith is a ball up and away. 1-0. Carmouche, the guy that you mentioned, has struggled with the command a little bit. Big strikeout numbers, 17 and 11 and 2/3, but also 9 walks in the same amount of time. As the 1-0 pitch outside, and now the count is 2-0.
And that could be the risk that you run with power guys who they can really strike out, but they can also be a little bit erratic with their control.
Yeah. 2-0 from Carmouche is a fastball right there, and the count 2-1.
Contestants for Coach Dyson.
And you know Carmouche is a fastball-heavy guy. He's got to keep your weight back, be on the pitch, make good contact.
2-1 fouled back, out of play, and the count 2-2.
Uh-oh, I hear breaking glass.
And he also throws it hard enough that if you just get your bat on it,
Call P
you can
at
hit it
man
a nice way. Don't have to overswing. Just be on the pitch, square it away, and watch it fly.
The harder they throw, the harder it goes, as the saying goes, as Gunnar Goldsmith goes down on strikes, chases a breaking ball, and that's the first out here in the top of the fifth.
Really have not seen the breaking ball much from Carmouche, and again, still early, but just, looking at his numbers and looking at him warm up too, he loves his fastball.
So with 1 out, that'll bring up Fritz Genther. He's 1 for 1 tonight, singled in his first at-bat back in inning number 1, and then was hit by a pitch in the third. Carmouche struck out the first 2 batters he's faced. He ended last inning by striking out Nick Iverson, and then struck out Goldsmith as the first pitch is way up there. Looked like he went with a breaking ball, but didn't get a handle on it.
No.
So the count 1-0. And he quickly comes set, the 1-0. Fastball chopped on the ground to third. Brett Coker fields, and a strong throw gets him. And 2 up, 2 down to start the top of inning number 5.
And a pretty quick 2 up, 2 down. Now we'll see what Kip Fugers can do. But a guy out of Indiana, he's used to seeing hard-throwing pitchers in the Big Ten. Big Ten SEC battle.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy like that, as Fritz Genther snaps his bat in frustration over his knee. And the first pitch bounces, 1-0.
And it did sound when he hit that ball, it might have actually broken. I thought that he heard.
I think that's,
yeah.
Unless Fritz becomes the Hulk when he gets angry. Because that snapped pretty easily over his knee there. So the 1-0 from Carmouche is lifted foul out of play. Looked like it almost got the light tower over there.
That
and
did.
count 1-1.
The lights here are not nearly as high, nor not nearly as removed from the field as they are at Canton. So these lights probably get hit a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, if you look around, there are a fair amount of them that aren't working.
Yeah.
As Carmouche goes back to the breaking ball and gets Fugers to chase it. And now the count 1-2. He's only thrown that a few times, but it's been to great effect. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. He went back to it, and he strikes out Fugers. A 1-2-3 inning for Dylan Carmouche in relief. We're through 4.5, halfway home at Shuttleworth Park, and the Mohawks have a 4-2 lead. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Stallions Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 5th about to begin. But first, we'll check in with our sideline reporter, Michael Gross. What's going on, Mike?
Well, last time I was up here, it was after Reimer sort of gave up a few runs, I guess you could say. You know, he gave up 4 in that bottom of the second inning. And since, he's been absolutely stellar. He has now 3 strikeouts, and he's only given up he's given up no hits since in those 2 innings. Had 2 1-2-3 innings. He's been stellar. But the one thing on the other end is the Stallions leaving guys on base. You know, and it's not just leaving guys on base, it's leaving runners in scoring position. They've left the bases loaded 2 times, and they can't do that. If they want to go win ball games, especially against a team like Amsterdam, those runs have to score. You know, it's a priority, and Amsterdam's a really good team, and they're not going to win this game if they don't start putting runners that are on base and have them come around to the plate. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Michael, as the 0-1 pitch from Reimer misses up and in. The count 1-1. And, yeah, like he mentioned, Reimer set down 7 in a row going back to the last out of that second inning.
Yeah, that's big for him. Because, and as we talked about before, it really wasn't his fault. Those runs that came across, he threw strikes. Besides the hit by pitch, he threw strikes. Guys just hit him. It was some sloppy fielding.
1-2 is just off the outside edge. 2-2. And again, we're seeing just Reimer. He is a textbook example of pitching backwards. Back-to-back curveballs inside, then goes fastball outside. Good job by Hill to hold up. That was a good pitch on 1-2 as the 2-2 from Reimer is upstairs. And now the count runs full. Hill singled his first time and eventually came around to score in that second inning as Reimer deals the payoff pitch upstairs and a leadoff walk to start the bottom of inning number 5.
It's the second time tonight that Amsterdam is starting with the runner on base. And now Rich Doobie's going to head out there. Might see a pitching change for Reimer. And as players come out of the dugout, looks like we will.
And we will. So Bryce Reimer goes 4+, gives up 4 runs, and we're going to get a new pitcher for the Stallions when we come back. Mohawks lead 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back here, bottom of the 5th, and it is Ray Rodriguez on the mound for the Stallions. By far the earliest we've seen him in a game. He relieves Bryce Reimer. And John, I understand you have Reimer's line for us.
I do. Reimer, 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Still, a potential run of his is on first, so he can't close out his line completely. But for now, he's given up 4 runs.
And I thought it was a start that looked a lot better than the numbers suggest.
Yep,
It was really
agree.
just the one inning, and a lot of it, even though he was hit hard that inning, was defensive miscues. As Rodriguez's first pitch is right by Stone Meow, the number 10 hitter. Count 0-1.
Defensive miscues, and if you look at the scoreboard, you'd see a 0 under the errors category for the Stallions. There were no errors, but just a lack of hustle, just some bonehead mistakes, as my dad would say.
My dad would probably say that too. 0-1 from Rodriguez. Foul tip into the glove of Napolitano. And the count 0-2.
Now, take a look at Ray Rodriguez in this season. This is his 7th appearance. Like you said, the earliest we've seen him, Dylan. An ERA of just 1 in 9 innings, has 9 strikeouts and 7 walks.
Yeah, the walk's always something to watch out for. We've seen him more so at the beginning of the year. He struggled with the command, but always something to watch out for with anybody, really. As he comes set, the 0-2 from Rodriguez just got a piece as Meow flailed to tap that one foul, and the at-bat continues. Yeah, and Ray Rodriguez has really kind of assumed the role of closer, so to speak, for this team. 2 saves and 2 opportunities. The only other save by a Stallion this year, well, the 2 other saves came with Connor Bruce against Amsterdam, a 3-inning save. He threw the last 3 innings of that game, and then Jarek Woodward picked up a save in the second game with a doubleheader against Albany a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Rodriguez thrusted into the closer role here, kind of like he was at the time this past season at Weber International. So it's something that he's used to as he picks off back to first. But he's trying to become a starter. He wants to become a starter. He was a starter a couple of years ago down at Weber, and just couldn't get the job done as a starter. Was moved to the bullpen, but he wants to be a weekend guy.
Rodriguez comes set, another 0-2, tap to second. This could be a double play. Flip to the bag for 1, on to first. It is in time, and Rodriguez turns 2. And just like that, the bases are empty with now 2 men gone.
That is huge for the Stallions. A momentum play. It's really a momentum play. Anytime you can turn 2 when you're trailing, try to turn the tide to the game, and it's good for Rodriguez as well. He enters the situation with a runner on base. His field backs him up, makes a good play. Again, the defense has struggled today for the Stallions, so it's good to see them be crisp on that double play.
And doesn't look like the Mohawks were too enthused with the call at first,
No.
as we're going to have a little discussion here with the umpire. Obviously, the plays aren't reviewable, so it doesn't really seem like anything's going to come out of this. As you see Meow walking off towards the dugout now.
I think Keith Griffin just wanted his piece to be heard.
Yeah, it makes you feel better. Doesn't lead to anything, but as a coach, it just makes you feel better to let the ump know your side of the story.
And also, it probably helps to, your guy Stone Meow probably thinks he was safe.
Yeah.
And you go out there and you back up your guy.
Exactly,
Probably
exactly.
gives them a little bit extra motivation to play for you if you back him up like that.
2 outs, and the base is empty for the leadoff man, Bryce Eblin. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles so far. Obviously, both of those came against the left-handed Reimer, as he now faces the right-handed flamethrower Ray Rodriguez, who throws one down and away, 1-0. And speaking of plays that aren't reviewable, in college baseball at the Division I level, there are plays that are reviewable.
Yep.
And there was a play today in the NC State-Vanderbilt game, which was a controversial game for a whole other reasons. As that one hit in the air to left, coming on Jennings, he makes the play, a nice play, as he charges in for the final out. So my story's going to have to wait.
I'm excited for this, Dylan.
Thank you. So we're through 5 here at Shuttleworth Park as Ray Rodriguez tosses a scoreless 5th. Mohawks still lead 4-2. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back to Shuttleworth Park here in Amsterdam, New York. The sun is going down, and we're in the top of inning number 6 as the Mohawks lead the Stallions 4-2. And back out for another inning of work is Dylan Carmouche. And the first batter to face him in the 6th will be Tyler Kelder. And he takes the first pitch. That's low and in the dirt, 1-0.
Well, we have not seen the Stallions have any success yet against Carmouche. This is just his second full inning of work, but you just aren't getting those bats going, down by 2.
That one's in there, and the count 1-1. Yeah, and Carmouche has struck out 3 of the first 4 batters he's faced since entering with 2 outs in the 4th.
That's not been easy.
1-1 to Kelder, right by him, and the count 1-2.
Carmouche out of Mississippi State, who is, they're playing in the College World Series right now.
Yeah, tonight. And the 1-2 from Carmouche is away to even the count 2-2.
So I want to hear the story.
Yeah. So NC State was batting. There was 1 out and nobody on. And I might mess up a few minor details here because my memory is terrible. So guy hits a ball, chopper down the third base line as the 2-2 is outside to fill the count. He hit a chopper down the third base line. It bounced originally in fair territory. Then when it crossed the bag, it was kind of up in the air about whether it was fair or foul. Third base called it foul. NC State third base coach did not like it as that one misses down, so Kelder draws a leadoff walk to start the inning. So the NC State coach immediately was irate. He was jumping, very frustrated. So the umps came and they talked about it, and the third base coach actually showed them the spot on the chalk where you could see that the ball hit. So the umps talked, and they changed the call, and they put the guy on second base, gave him a double. So then Tim Corbin, Vanderbilt head coach, he came out of the dugout, talked to them. They talked for probably about almost 10 minutes. And then the umps reversed the call, put him back at the plate, and the very next pitch, he struck out on a fastball from Kumar Rocker.
Wow.
First pitch to Wilhite over his head as he tried to show bunt, and Kelder will easily move up to second base. So, that's a little bit better than a sac bunt.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Wilhite has a chance, rather than getting out at a bunt, now has a chance to drive him home with no outs, pardon me. So that's crazy. So about a, 12, 15-minute delay in the game over this call?
Yeah.
And they changed the call twice?
They changed it twice, yeah. They called it foul originally, changed it to fair, then changed it back to foul. And that's all without replay review because it was a play that wasn't reviewable.
That's wild.
I've never seen anything like it. 1-0 from Carmouche is outside, 2-0. And after he struck out, the boos from the crowd, there was a lot of NC State fans. The boos were incredible. It was ridiculously loud.
I can only imagine. NC State, great fan base.
Yeah. They battled through a lot of adversity just to get there, and then obviously everything they were faced with just this morning. As a 2-0 gets the outside corner. Count 2-1 on Andrew Wilhite. Wilhite 0 for 2 in this one. He grounded out to first his first time up and then reached on an error back in the 4th. As a man on second and nobody out here in the top of inning number 6. Carmouche comes set, the 2-1 sidearm delivery, and he misses outside. Trying to mess with the hitters a little bit there. First time we've seen him do that.
Yeah, he's adjusting that arm slot a bit this inning. I don't think he did that as much in previous innings, but
no.
He's working from the side a little bit. Maybe some sliding action on these pitches, but was more over the top in his first inning and a third. Now we'll see what he comes with in this 3-1.
So Carmouche comes set, the 3-1, as he kicks, fires, and that misses ball 4. So back-to-back walks to start the inning. Have 2 men on with nobody out for Caden Kendall.
Dylan, I'm going to sound like a broken record.
Okay.
But it's another chance for the Stallions to drive home runs. You have to. You have to. You look back at this game so far, they've left 5 guys in scoring position and 8 on base so far. A lot of these off of walks and coming with no outs or 1 out.
The fact that they've been able to leave 8 men on base with only 2 hits is pretty remarkable.
It is.
As the first pitch to Kendall's a fastball in the inner half, 0-1.
But when you get free 90s, those are gifts, and you have to capitalize. Absolutely. And you're only down by 2. You have a chance to still win this game. Got to get hits now.
0-1 from Carmouche is outside, 1-1. This is something we saw, we talked about when he came in. 9 walks in 11 2/3. The command can kind of get away from him at times. He's already walked 2 guys in this inning. 1-1 count here on Caden Kendall. As Carmouche comes set, looks at Kelder at second, now goes home. Fastball right by him. And they count 1-2. That's where that speed plays up because he came in with the breaking ball at 81 and then the fastball, which the stadium gun tells us was 90 miles an hour. Feels a lot faster if you just saw a breaking ball at barely 80 miles an hour. So Carmouche comes set, the 1-2. Off-speed pitch outside, 2-2. And again, probably set up for the fastball here. That one was only 78 miles an hour. So if you throw a fastball, look, even touching 90, major speed difference there. Carmouche comes set, looks back Kelder, the 2-2. Struck him out swinging. Sure enough, he went with the fastball and he blew it right by Kendall. And a big out number 1 for the Mohawks.
That's where the importance of having a repertoire comes in. Because if you're just relying on a fastball, if you're just relying off speed, then guys are going to pick up on that. But when you can mix it up, guys are truly guessing at the plate. And like you said, the change in speeds, I mean, he's going 12 to 15 mile per hour differences in these pitches. That is very difficult to pick up on.
Coming up, Jack Renwick, 2 on and 1 out. First pitch is outside. 1-0. Renwick 0 for 2, both times grounding out to the left side. First to short and then to third base. Carmouche comes set. Takes a couple glances at Tyler Kelder. Now comes home and misses, so the count 2-0.
Yeah, again, you need something this inning. You absolutely need it. Bottom portion of the lineup. No hits so far, but they're going to have to produce.
Only 2 hits total for the Stallions so far, both of them coming in the first inning. Renwick ahead 2-0 here. As Carmouche kicks and deals. And a fastball by him, 2-1.
But I like the idea from Renwick to go after that pitch. I know Carmouche has been a little bit erratic this inning, but you figure you're going to get a fastball on a 2-0 count. He's going to go to his bread and butter. Be aggressive. Your team has struggled to hit. Try to hit something. He couldn't do it there, but I still like the fact that he went after it.
And the last one was at 89 miles an hour as the 2-1 from Carmouche is a called strike. Count 2-2. So while Carmouche has kind of been battling his command a little bit this inning, hasn't come back to bite him so far.
No.
2 men that he walked are on base, and he just fought his way back from a 2-0 count. Even this one 2-2 as he comes set, and the 2-2 got him to chase in the dirt, and that's out number 2.
Number 15,
It's the same story. This has been ever since that first inning. Guys are getting on, but it's there's an inability to hit, and especially when guys get on, we've seen a lot of strikeouts, right? And when you're putting balls in play, you're giving your team a chance to move guys around. You're putting pressure on the defense to make plays. When you're striking out, that's it. At bat's over.
It's over right there. And here's the guy who's struggled with that at times this year, Albert Jennings, in a big spot for the Stallions. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Jennings 0 for 1 in tonight's game, grounded out back to the pitcher, and then drew a walk his last time. Runners at first and second, and now 2 outs here in the top of inning number 6. Stallions trail 4-2. And the 0-1 from Carmouche is tipped into the glove of Finney, and the count 0-2. And he's blown the last 2 fastballs by him. That one 93, fastest pitch we've seen from Carmouche tonight. Have to wonder if he goes back to that or maybe tries something off speed here. Comes set, the 0-2. Just misses. Seemed like everyone on the field thought that was strike 3. Not only did Carmouche take a step towards the dugout, but so did Stone Meow at second base and probably a few more guys.
That's a break for Jennings. It's a good take because it was a ball, but you have to be ready to protect. Anything close, you have to go after.
Carmouche comes set. Gives Kelder a couple glances. Now looks again. Now comes home. The 1-2 in the air to center. That's a base hit. Kelder will be waved around third. The throw to the plate is cut off as Kelder stops there, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Second time in this game that we've seen a base hit to center just get cut off too quickly to bring home that runner from third.
Yeah, and Cam Hill, you have to give him a lot of credit because he's getting to balls quick. There is no delay. He's charging in, fielding right away, up with it to throw, whether it's to home or cut off by Kai Roberts. But that's twice now. And again, if that doesn't happen, there are 2 more runs on the board for the Stallions.
Yeah, just big-time defense there from Cam Hill, and he looks like he's standing pretty far out there. So there's the fact that he's able to come in so quickly.
But how about a really good hit from Albert Jennings in a massive spot with 2 outs, able to protect, able to get a hit.
Big spot for Gene Napolitano. Bases loaded, 2 outs as the first pitch is an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Napolitano still does not have an official at-bat in this game. He's walked twice. This will be his first time facing Carmouche, so a lefty-on-lefty battle here.
And you'll take another walk. If you're the Stallions, a walk right here is a run.
It's an RBI. Carmouche set. He can go out of the windup with the bases loaded. And now, just like that, he's ahead 0-2. Lots of energy from the fans here at Shuttleworth Park. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Top of the 6th with the Mohawks ahead 4-2. The 0-2 pitch from Napolitano. Quick pitched him, and it's fouled straight back as he stays alive.
He was on it. He was on it.
Even with the quick pitch, you saw he didn't go with that full leg kick. Obviously, with the bases loaded, you can go out of the windup because Kelder's not going to steal home.
Right.
No base runner can go anywhere. So the count remains 0-2. And the pitch from Carmouche in the dirt, and a good take from Napolitano. 1-2.
I think especially in this situation where guys are, number 1, trying to protect the plate, number 2, they want to drive home runs in a big spot. A lot of guys would be anxious to be swinging at a pitch like that. That out of the hand looks good and drops to the last second. But Napolitano, great plate discipline. Now faces a 1-2.
The 1-2 pitch from Carmouche. Hit hard to first, but that will be routine for Kai Roberts. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Stallions strand the bases loaded. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Mohawks lead 4-2. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network. Welcome back to the Stallions Broadcast Network, bottom of the 6th inning at Shuttleworth Park, brought to you by Nacarado Insurance. Over 50 years and 50 carriers, they've got you covered. PC Smith & Sons Hardware, Smith Hardware on Main Street in Saugerties. Got a project? They can help. Peak Trading, need it lifted up or tied down? Peak Trading has the supplies. Ray Rodriguez back out for another inning of work after he set down a few batters last inning, and the first pitch to Brett Coker is fouled out of play, 0-1. Somewhat uncharted territory for Rodriguez, who hasn't really worked multiple innings too many times this year.
Yeah, uncharted in Saugerties at least. This is something he's done a bit in college at Weber International. Looking to translate some of that to Saugerties.
Another fastball, this one on the outside corner for strike 2.
And if you're the Stallions, the struggles in the batter's box have been evident today. You cannot afford to fall behind by much more than this. 4-2 hole on the 6th.
Rodriguez comes set. 0-2 is an off-speed pitch that didn't quite make it there, and the count 1-2. Yeah, and you mentioned that it's so important for Rodriguez and the Stallions defense to just get through a quick inning. And yeah, the offense hasn't been good, but all they need is a chance. 1-2. Ground ball into the hole. It's short. Tough play, and Renwick couldn't come up with it. That'll be an infield single for Brett Coker to start the bottom of the 6th. Not really a hard hit ball, just found a hole.
Yeah. And again, it's not an error. That's the right call, because that's not a play that Renwick should have made. Could he have made it? I think he could have made it.
Yeah.
But that's not a play that he should have made. That's a hit, and that puts Coker on first to start out this inning.
That'll bring up Matt Shaw, DH out of Maryland, 0 for 1 with a walk and a flyout. Yeah, and with Renwick, even if he gloves that cleanly, I don't know that he throws out Coker.
I'm with you.
That's a tough play. First pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, swung on and missed. Throw down to second, and it gets away from Goldsmith at second base. Pitch was in the dirt.
Designated hitter, Matt Shaw.
Napolitano came up with that pretty quick too.
Yeah, he did.
He said it was in the dirt, or the quote-unquote dirt here at Shuttleworth Park, but nobody was there to cover second, because I don't think Goldsmith realized, at least right away, that Coker was on his way to second.
Yeah, you saw him try a hidden ball trick over there at second base. Goldsmith feigned the throw and then pretended he had to hold on to the ball for a minute. 0-1 pitch is just outside, 1-1. So that breaks up the potential double play here, which Rodriguez induced to the first batter he faced last inning.
Yep.
Which was obviously a huge play. Came on with the runner at first and nobody out. And the first batter he faced grounded into a double play before he got a fly out to end the inning. Count 1-1 on Matt Shaw. Coker takes his lead off second. Rodriguez comes set. Gives him a look, the 1-1. Fastball there, and the count 1-2.
Strikeout would be massive right now for Rodriguez. Going against a guy in Shaw, one of the best hitters in the PGCBL. Runner in scoring position as well. Can't allow that runner to score.
Rodriguez gives Coker another look. 1-2, struck him out. A good off-speed pitch. Had Shaw flailing at that one. And a big out, number 1.
Yeah, you'd love to see that Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union strikeout for Ray Rod.
From Pittsburgh,
Like I said, big first out. You have to keep this run from scoring. It's been tough enough for the Stallions to make up this 2-run deficit. Cannot afford to fall behind by any more than that.
So 1 out and a man at second for CJ Funk. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but he's had a monster season, batting .313 with a pair of home runs coming into tonight's game. Rodriguez looks back Coker at second. And now appears like he's ready to go home as he comes set. Again, gives Coker a look. Now another. Big lead as the first pitch misses inside. 1-0.
Dylan, this game is now at about 2 hours and 6 minutes. Last night's win for Amsterdam, full 9 innings, 2 hours, 9 minutes.
Yeah, just crazy baseball. What other sport could there be such a variation in a regulation game? Two different regulation games.
None.
1-0 from Rodriguez, lifted foul out of play, and the count 1-1.
Although I'll say this, regular season regulation NBA game is probably about a half hour shorter than a close playoff regulation game. If it's a close game at the end, everything's going to be...
The last 2 minutes can take about a half hour.
The last 30 seconds can.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It is. Rodriguez comes set, the 1-1. Late swing by Funk, he fouls it back, 1-2.
That Suns game a couple days ago, which I think the Suns play tonight. And the Suns game where they won the game-winning alley-oop with .9 seconds to go. The final 10 or so seconds of that game took 25 minutes, 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then it paid off with a great ending.
It was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I love basketball.
One of the best endings. I'm not a huge basketball guy. One of the best endings I've seen in any game in a while. As Funk drives that one out to right field. Wilhite moving back, makes the catch. Tagging is Coker, and he will get to third with 2 down.
And for a split second, it seemed like Will Height couldn't track the ball, but then he found it, got there. Now if you're Rodriguez, forget about the guy in third.
Yeah.
Attack the batter. Go after Keith Jones. The sacrifice is out of the question. You just need to get this out.
Yeah, you're in a situation right now with Rodriguez where, like you said, the runner at third essentially doesn't matter because as long as you get the batter out, that run is not scored.
That's it.
So Keith Jones, who we just mentioned by name, is 0 for 2. Stands in with Coker at third and 2 down. First pitch from Rodriguez outside. 1-0. Jones from Washington State, so knows a few guys on the Stallions as well. Rodriguez set the 1-0. Hit in the air and foul out of play down the left field line into the trees. And the count 1-1.
And there must be a bunch of baseballs in the woods over there.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Yeah, if anybody needs baseballs, come to Shuttleworth Park, take a walk in the woods. You'll probably find at least a few.
Absolutely. At least
Don't have to pay for them. That one's tapped in front of the mound. Rodriguez gloves it and lobs the throw to first, which is just in time to end the inning. So Rodriguez works around Brett Coker on the base paths, and we're through 6. Stallions still trailing 4-2 as we get ready for inning number 7. You're listening to Dylan McGlynn and John Gross on the Stallions Broadcast Network.
Top of the 7th from historic Shuttleworth Park in Amsterdam, New York. John Gross, Dylan McGlynn, and you at the Stallions Broadcast Network. But a close one so far. 4-2 Amsterdam entering the top of the 7th. Stallions Baseball is brought to you by Praetorius and Conrad, Civil and Environmental Engineering and Land Surveying. Richards Electric, the Stallions lights turning on, sponsor when the lights go out. Call Richards and Rip Van Winkle Country Club. Bring your swing to the Rip. Nick Iverson is 0 for 3, but he gets us started as Dylan Carmouche rocks and fires and finds the strike zone at the knees. Fastball, 0-1 count. The Stallions scored first, 2 runs at the top of the first. Amsterdam responded with 4 in the bottom of the second. All 4 came with 2 outs as Carmouche again deals past the swinging bat of Iverson. 0-2. The Stallions, name of the game tonight, they've been able to get on base, but have struggled to bring guys home. Have left as Iverson is fans on a low breaking pitch in the dirt. 1 away. The Stallions have left 11 base runners on.
Second baseman number 2,
And 7
Gunnar Goldsmith.
runners in scoring position. Keep in mind, this is a 2-run game. Now top of the 7th with 1 away. Gunnar Goldsmith comes to the plate. Gunnar is 0 for 1. He did walk in his first 2 at-bats. As he watches a fastball inside from Carmouche, 1-0. And Dylan getting on base via the walk, the hit by pitch, that's been no issue tonight for the Stallions.
Yeah, it has. And, unfortunately, that's kind of the easy part for the Stallions tonight.
1-0, is launched fouled on the right field line out of play, 1-1. Just 3 hits tonight for Saugerties, 2 of which came in the first inning. The only hit besides the back-to-back singles by Fritz Ganther and Kip Fugers was a single by Albert Jennings in the top of the last inning. 1-1, 1 out. The number 2 hitter in the Stallions lineup. Fritz Ganther, the 3 hitter, is on deck, and now Jackson Finney will trot out to have a word with Dylan Carmouche.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get anything going for the Stallions, this is the best opportunity to do it here in this inning. You have 2, 3, 4. Right now, I mean, I already one out, but you had the top of the order leading off, a guy who's struggled with command during this game. He's been able to work around it so far. But again, all the Stallions need to do is just put 1 or 2 good swings on the ball, and this game can really change in a hurry.
1-1 after the brief chat. Fastball dips down, 2-1. And it's so fascinating as well because you look at a team like the Stallions last night, 8 runs, consistent offense. I know Amsterdam's pitching staff was superior to Oneonta, but this is a team that today has just looked like a different ball club at the plate. And the 2-1 works the outer edge, 2-2.
Yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of strikeouts, and too often I think we're seeing guys late on the fastball. And obviously, Amsterdam has some guys that are throwing pretty hard, but Carmouche here is throwing 89 to 91. That's not anything that they haven't seen before.
2-2 delivery misses in the turf. Now the count runs full.
And obviously, I understand that the off-speed stuff plays up the fastball, and that's the whole idea. But at the same time, we're seeing so many late swings on the fastball tonight. You have to gear up. You have to go up thinking fastball, 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 and then adjust to an off-speed pitch, not the other way around.
Full count delivery. The lefty Carmouche, the big leg kick, and he blows it past the bat of Goldsmith, who is very frustrated with himself. That's the second out of the 7th.
Yeah, and right there, with a 3-2 count, it seemed like Goldsmith was just in swing mode. Didn't really look like that was a strike, but once you commit too early, especially with a guy who throws hard, you don't have time to fix that.
So it comes down to Fritz Ganther in this top of the 7th, looking to keep this half inning alive. So the Stallions have some late game magic in him. Fritz is 1 for 2. He singled in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third. Couldn't come around an off-speed pitch from Carmouche, 0-1.
And that's just a really good pitch. Because, again, when you come up first pitch, you're sitting fastball. And then you get the wicked off-speed pitch, and like Ganther way out in front.
Fritz watches fastball eye level, 1-1. Carmouche and out away from another 1-2-3 inning. Had 1 in the 5th. And misses upstairs, fastball 2-1.
And again, I mean, they just haven't been able to put it together. We're seeing Stallions hitters get into hitters' counts. And tonight they've just been ending in either walks or outs.
2-1, another good take from Fritz Ganther. Now a favorable account to the righty. 3-1, 2 outs.
And here's a situation where even though it's 3-1 and not 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the take sign right here. Carmouche has been kind of around the zone all night. Outside of it is what I mean by that. And you have your big power bat, your best hitter so far, Kip Fugers on deck. He's a guy who, if Ganther gets on, he could tie the game up with 1 swing.
4-2 Amsterdam, top 7. Here's the 3-1 with 2 outs. Ganther was swinging away as he stumbles after the foul back. Now the count's full. 2 outs, 4-2 lead for Amsterdam. Top of the 7th. 6th meeting of the season between the 2 top teams of the PGCBL. Amsterdam leads the season series 3-2. These 2 sides met on Wednesday at Cantine Field. Was a 1-0 victory for Saugerties in the definition of a pitcher's duel.
This one's turned into a bit of a pitcher's duel itself.
It has.
Albeit with relievers instead of the starters, but all 6 runs in this game coming in the first 2 innings.
3-2 is low, and Ganther flips his bat back. He'll trot off to first. So another base runner for the Stallions. We'll see what Kip Fugers can do with 2 outs.
Yeah, and this is the exact situation I was talking about. Ganther works a walk, and now with Fugers hasn't. He had the RBI single in the first, but since then a pair of strikeouts. But he has a chance to come through here. And like we said all night, this is just not a big field.
Yeah.
And Fugers is a guy with a lot of power. I mean, he's homered at Cantine. He's homered at Damashki Field as a throw over to first there.
Eastfield at Glens Falls.
Yeah. And East Field was, that was to dead center. Grand slam.
Grand slam in the ninth. Saugerties would love some of that power from Kip Futures. With one swing of the bat can tie the game. Genther dances off at first. Big leg kick home. Futures taps it back, 0-1.
Yeah, really paying a lot of attention to Genther over there, because with 2 outs, the last thing you want as the Mohawks is for Genther to move up into scoring position where just a simple single could cut the lead to 1.
Fritz's good speed of the bases. He'll now extend his lead off at first. 0-1 delivery, lefty to righty. Futures awaits the pitch. Slap shot into left off the diving glove of Eblin. First and second for Saugerties. And brings up Mr. Stallion, Tyler Kelder, who, Dylan, just a couple days ago had a 2-run home run here.
He did. To left center-ish kind of area. Again, it's only 280 down the line. And especially in left field, it doesn't really bellow out. It doesn't elbow out. It's basically a straight line in left until you get really out towards left center. Right field's more curved, so for a right-handed hitter like Kelder, that left field fence is basically just begging for a ball to be hit over it. He did it the other night. Big spot here.
First and second with 2 outs to Kelder, who was 0 for 2. He did walk in his last at-bat. Carmouche checks back twice to second, now deals home. Fastball misses at the ankles, 1-0. The Stallions, entering this half inning, have stranded 11 runners on base, 7 in scoring position. They have runners in first and second. Now a 1-0 delivery to Kelder, lefty to righty. Carmouche, big leg kick home. Kelder slaps it down the first base side, foul, 1-1.
I mean, the Stallions have had 6 men reach base via the walk, another one reach base via hit by pitch, and again, just haven't been able to come up with those hits.
4-2 Amsterdam. We have not seen any runs scored from either side since the Mohawks put up 4 runs in the bottom of the second. A 1-1 delivery, 2 outs, first and second to Tyler Kelder. The pitch home. Sent back foul, 1-2.
Yeah, good job to get ahead if you're Carmouche, but we know how dangerous Tyler Kelder is. Basically, everybody in the PGCBL knows how dangerous Tyler Kelder is because he's been in this league for so long. So even though you're ahead, again, you can't afford to miss with a pitch that's hittable for him.
Kelder awaits the 1-2. 2 outs, Stallions down by 2. First and second, Carmouche delivers and strikes out Tyler Kelder. Off-speed pitch low, fools Kelder, and the Stallions strand their 12th and 13th base runner, an 8th in scoring position. So it's time for the 7th inning stretch. 4-2 Amsterdam. Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network.
God bless America.
Bottom 7. 4-2 Amsterdam leading your Stallions. And a pinch hitter,
From Wake Forest,
Jake
number
Reinish,
20,
is
Jake
in to
Reinish.
pinch hit for Robbie Armitage. Ray Rodriguez stays in the hill for Saugerties. His first pitch is grooved just outside 1-0. Stallions baseball is brought to you by Rips Auto Parts, the Stallions pitcher-catcher battery sponsor. Rips, your hometown auto parts store. Saugerties Athletic Association, where having fun is what matters. And Sawyer Chevrolet and Sawyer Motors. The Sawyer Motors Car Show takes over Saugerties on Sunday, July 11th. Rodriguez misses just up 2-0.
Yeah, Reinish, a typical starter for this team. We've seen him quite a few times already this year, now getting a pinch hit opportunity.
Broken bat, ground ball up the middle, backhand, throw on the move. Oh my goodness! What a play by Gunnar Goldsmith. Derek Jeter-esque for the first out.
I mean, that is just an incredible all-around play. Broken bat, and that ball got a lot further. It was hit a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I think it kind of surprised everybody, and Goldsmith did a really nice job just to get to the ball, nonetheless make that throw. I mean, he's, like you said, Derek Jeter-esque, fading away from the bag, and that's just an incredible all-around play.
A big first out brings up Kai Roberts, who fancied the first offering from Rodriguez. What a play. And just the way that Goldsmith was moving, he was going away from first base. I don't even know, we'll have to check the replay. I don't even know if he had an opportunity to look back at first before he made that throw. 0-1 pitch, make that 0-2. Sinking pitch gets Roberts to cut.
Yeah, just the ability to make that throw on a line with all your momentum taking you basically towards left field as a second baseman. That was very, very impressive.
0-2 delivery. Rodriguez skips it short of the plate for ball 1. Rodriguez so far, going just 1 inning, a part of 2 innings. Looks solid.
He has. He really has. This is one of the best outings we've seen from him so far, and this is really the first extended one as he's now 2 1/3 down.
Fires home with a 1-2 in the air to left center field. Back goes Kendall, ranging to his right, and he hauls it in. 2 outs.
From Pittsburgh, the catcher, Jackson Finney.
Third at bat for Jackson Finney. Finney 1 for 2, an RBI triple back in the second. He struck out in his last at bat.
So Ray Rodriguez now has struck out 7 of 8 batters that he's faced in this outing. Or not struck out, excuse me, gotten 7 of 8 out. Well, I just made that stat sound way less impressive than it was.
First pitch on the outside corner for a strike. But you know what I did see about consecutive strikeouts? Aaron Nola today had 10 straight strikeouts. Was it 6?
Yep, it was 10. It was
10.
10. It tied Tom Seaver for the all-time record.
0-1 misses outside, 1-1.
Against the Mets, too.
Against the
who
Mets,
are wearing Tom Seaver patches on their jerseys.
I was just about to say, very fitting.
Baseball. So weird.
Baseball, yeah. It always seems to come full circle in baseball.
Somehow, yeah, it always does.
There's the 1-1 to Finney. Fanned on a 1-2. 4-2 Amsterdam, bottom 7.
And speaking of baseball, I know we talked a lot about time of game for these two teams lately. Red Sox-Yankees took 50 minutes to get through the first inning and a half.
1-2 with 2 outs. Finney held back on it. Let's see, Napolitano applied the tag. The appeal unsuccessful down to first. Well, death taxes Red Sox-Yankees taking about 4 hours or longer.
It's incredible, really. They do it every time. I mean, they could both be the 2 worst teams in the league, and the games would still go 4.5 hours long, somehow.
2-2 from Rodriguez with 2 outs in the 7th. Fell back, just barely tapped back by Finney to stay alive. 4-2 Amsterdam. The Stallions scored first, 2 runs in the top of the first. Have been held off the board since then. Amsterdam put up 4 in the bottom of the second. All 4 came with 2 outs, and that was a 4-run inning that started with Kai Roberts being hit by a pitch on a 2-strike, 2-out situation.
It seems like the big inning has just haunted the Stallions a lot this year.
2-2 from Ray Rodriguez. Fastball away, full count.
We've seen that a few times. We've seen it against Amsterdam a few times as well, where it just they play an overall a pretty solid game, and then just one inning kind of blows up on them and really turns the whole game on its head.
And it had been that 7th inning. They let up
Yep.
the 7 runs in the 7th a couple days ago at Cantine, and then 4 runs in the 7th here at Shuttleworth earlier this week. Finney again just on it to stay alive at a 3-2 count. So 2 outs, bottom 7.
And it's like, I mean, I said it earlier on the broadcast, but, there's some hitters where they say, oh, he's so dangerous that he basically always comes up with a runner in scoring position. Seems like the whole Amsterdam team always comes up with a runner in scoring position because at the blink of an eye, they can just put together a rally and put some runs on the board so quick fast.
Full count offering. Breaking ball settles in, strike 3. Rayrod shuts the door in the 7th. Another 1-2-3 inning, his second of the night. And we head to the top of the 8th. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. 4-2 Mohawks through 7 of the Stallions Broadcast Network.
Shout out to all the locals that support James Chevrolet. We got our whole team up here on the deck, all our employees, right? Everybody's waiting for college. We know it's been a long year. Everybody loves Chevrolet and everybody loves
Top of the 8th, 4-2 Amsterdam. The Stallions looking to mount a late rally. It's a close game as expected. Always is a close one between these two rivals. And as always, Stallions Baseball is brought to you by Stella Artois, distributed by Duchess Beer Distributors. Grab an ice cold Stella at the Stallions Watering Trough. Steyer's celebrating over 50 years of keeping you on the road. Suncommon, a solar company with a purpose beyond profit. The computer guys don't get robbed by the other guys. Call the computer guys. The Emerson Resort, treat yourself to a getaway at the Emerson. Ulster Federal Credit Union, get rewarded with Ulster Federal Credit Union. And Ulster Savings, celebrating 170 years with 170 acts of kindness. A pitching change for Amsterdam as Connor Brandon, the righty out of Toledo, enters to face Andrew Wilhite.
Yeah, so Connor Brandon getting some action here. They're doing a giveaway here at the field, by the way, and the winner gets a dinner with Coach Keith Griffin and Connor Brandon.
1-0 to Wilhite on the outside corner, 1-1. Dylan, I'm sure that was very appealing to you, right?
Oh, of course.
You entered the round.
You know I did.
Absolutely.
So this year for Brandon, 6 1/3. He's given up 6 runs, but only 1 earned run, 6 walks, and 11 strikeouts.
Dylan Carmouche just exited after 3 1/3, scoreless innings of baseball. 1-1, fastball high and away, 2-1. 95 in the radar gun for the hard-throwing righty.
And that one was 97 right there.
97, oh man.
I mean, they have guys who throw hard. I mean, Teddy McGraw from Wake Forest has touched 100 before. We saw Zach Cable come in at Cantine Field the other day, and he was hitting triple digits as well.
How about 8 strikeouts for Dylan Carmouche?
Yeah, and unlike the guys we just talked about, he's not a guy who throws as hard as them. I mean, he was hitting, 89 to 91 with the fastball.
2-1 inside, ball 3. So hitters count to Wilhite. 3-1. Wilhite up now, the 6-hitter. Caden Kendall slated to hit on next, but looks like we'll get a pinch hitter, Josh Stevenson. And that's followed by Jack Redwick. So 6, 7, 8 for the Stallions. Down 4-2, top of the 8th. 3-1 from the hard-throwing righty. Gets past the swing bat of Wilhite. Full count.
And that was up, but with that high fastball, it looks appealing, especially 3-1. a lot of hitters are going to be looking for a pitch like that, so you can kind of sneak it by them, even if it's a bit high, because they see it high, and they think it's a pitch they can hit, and then you just commit too early.
Count is full on Wilhite. The payoff pitch is lifted down the third base side, foul out of play.
Oh, man, it sounds like those kids really want that foul ball.
Seems like it.
We talked a lot about the prizes that stadiums give out for fetching foul balls. I don't know that they've said that they do one here.
No, I don't think they do.
I mean, I would just keep the balls then.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Full count to Wilhite. This is low, and the Stallions start off with a base runner. What do you know? It's via walk.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. That's the 7th walk the Stallions have drawn tonight. And, well, it still hasn't amounted to anything. And like you mentioned, Josh Stevenson is going to pinch hit here. Have to think this might be something to do with the matchup.
Yes.
As the left-handed Carmouche exits and the right-handed Connor Brandon comes in.
And Kendall was 0 for 3, but I'm with you. It's righty-lefty. You want to get any advantage you can get. Well, you got Wilhite on the bases. Stevenson at the plate. With nobody out, trail by 2. First offering is fanned on 0-1. Now, I'd imagine if this were a one-run game, you'd consider bunting with Stevenson, but down 2,
Yeah.
probably not, right?
And he's a guy who's got power. I mean,
Yeah.
when the Stallions won 1-0 on Wednesday over the Mohawks, the only run was an opposite field homer by the man at the plate right now, Josh Stevenson.
0-1 delivery. He is lined back 0-2.
And he's a guy who's really, besides just the home run, has really looked better the last few days. He was another guy who got off to a bit of a slow start, but he's coming around. For him, it is a little bit of a learning curve. He's an LSU commit, but like the dugout let him hear on Saugerties senior night the other day, he's a high school senior. He's fresh out of high school, so this is a big step up for him.
0-2 pitch from the righty Brandon to the lefty Stevenson. And swung on and missed. It gets away from Finney, though. So that'll allow Wilhite to head off to second. Now, first base was occupied, so Stevenson cannot head down to first on the drop third strike, but it puts yet another Stallion in scoring position.
The shortstop from Wofford, number 8, Jack Renwick.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously a strikeout was not what you wanted, but at the very least you wanted Stevenson to advance the runner, and I mean, he didn't do it directly, but he does indirectly advance the base runner there.
The Stallions have stranded 8 runners in scoring position tonight after driving home 2 in the first. We'll see what they can do here. It's Jack Renwick with 1 away. Watches a strike, 0-1.
Yeah, Renwick 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout. And again, Stallions just need one big hit. They haven't had that big hit all night. Really seems like they just need one to get them going, and then the floodgates might open up.
4 hits, all 4 singles. Renwick, did he check his swing? No, that's the one around. That's strike 2.
I mean, does the field umpire really have a good angle to see that? Where
No.
he's standing basically behind the pitcher's mound, kind of near second base. Obviously, when there's nobody on, he's down the lines. He has a great angle, but there, I just don't know.
0-2 to Renwick. Breaking ball works its way in the inside corner, and Jack Renwick is not happy. That's 2 outs.
The left fielder, Albert Jennings.
Well, Dylan, Albert Jennings had a big hit last inning, and the Stallions, or last at bat, I should say, coming in the 6th, and the Stallions can certainly use another one here.
Yeah, that they said, so they had to hold the runner at third, but with 2 outs, anything to the outfield, base hit to the outfield is going to score a run here.
First pitch breaks outside corner, 0-1. 4-2 Mohawks, top of the 8th. Wilhite on second. He reached on a walk, then advanced on a pass ball. 0-1 to Jennings. He was 1 for 2 tonight. Fastball away, 1-1.
So each of the last 5 outs for the Stallions, all 3 outs last inning and both outs so far this inning, have come via the strikeout. And obviously they've put some guys on, they put some balls in play in that span, a couple hits, but when you want to get out, you have to at least advance the runner.
1-1, splits the wicket to Finney, but comes right back to him. He's going to throw off to third, and Wilhite is safe. Sliding feet first into third. About as fortuitous of a bounce as you'll ever see back to a catcher. But it was to no avail.
Yeah, that was, I mean, when Finney threw down, that ball beat him. It did beat him. So, see that field ump saying that he got under the tag. It did seem like a closer play than I thought it was going to be. But obviously, the crowd here didn't seem too content with that call.
2-1 to Jennings. The pitch home is dribbled back, and the count on level 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Saugerties down by 2, top of the 8th. Will Height on third, walked, advanced on a drop third strike, and then just made his way to third on a pitch that got past Finney. Big 2-2 offering to Jennings with 2 outs. Connor Brandon readies from the belt. Pitch home is lofted back. Foul.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked, again, I feel like we say it every time he comes up, but Jennings is a guy that has come through in big spots for this team before.
He has.
One of the biggest spots right here, trying to get Stallions within a run.
The 2-2 home to the lefty Jennings from the righty Brandon is low, and Finney was just able to backhand it. Count now full.
It's going to be interesting to see what Renwick does with his lead here at third. I can't imagine he tries to get too aggressive because our base hit, he's going to score pretty easily.
Full count to Jennings, 2 outs. Will Height leads off at third. The pitch bounced foul to the first base side, and we'll do it all over again.
Nice job by Nice job by Jennings to battle here. He's fouled off a couple good pitches. That one was a good pitch, and he's just able to tap it foul. We've said it a lot throughout the season. The deeper you get into an at-bat, the more likely you are to get a good pitch to hit.
Amsterdam leads 4-2, top of the 8th. A full count with 2 outs. Will Height leads off at third. Jennings at the plate. Connor Brandon's pitch. Swung on and missed. It's a drop third strike. Jennings didn't realize it. He's tagged out regardless, and that ends the top of the 8th. Another runner stranded on base and in scoring position. That is the 10th. The 9th runner stranded in scoring position by the Stallions. We head to the bottom of the 8th. 4-2 Amsterdam at the Stallions Broadcast Network. A Dallas Outwiener is called to the bullpen. Richie Simprick on the mound for Saugerties. We'll get to his numbers in a second, but as the Stallions enter the bottom of the 8th down 4-2, let's send it down to the field with our sideline reporter, Michael Gross.
Thank you, John and Dylan. It has been a slow game since Bryce Reimer has come out of the game, and Cole Patton as well on the Amsterdam side of things. But mainly for the Stallions, it's been at the plate and with runners on base. They have left 8 runners in scoring position, 13 runners on base, and 11 of their last 13 outs that were made came via the strikeout. That's not the way to win ball games, and they're only going to have 3 more outs to correct it and hopefully put 2 in and tie this game and possibly take the lead so that they can play some more baseball tonight. Fellas, back to you.
Thank you, Michael. And hey, that brings us right back to what we've been harping on throughout tonight's broadcast. You have to be able to hit with guys on base. Amsterdam gave you free base runners. The story tonight, the Stallions just couldn't drive him home.
Yeah, the hitting tonight, you can't really sugarcoat it. It's been bad. It has not been good. And, you know, Michael mentioned the strikeouts, and obviously we've compared it to the MLB in the sense that, you know, okay, you strike out 11 of 13 times, but if the team mixes in a couple home runs, then it doesn't really matter because you're getting runs on the board. But the Stallions aren't doing that either.
Richie Simprick's first pitch is hit deep to right. Will Height going back, looking up, and that ball is gone. A solo home run by Cam Hill. His first hit, his second hit as a Mohawk, is a bomb to right, 5-2 Amsterdam in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, and that's where that porch comes into play. There is not another park in this league that ball's out of. That's a high fly ball that barely cleared that fence, and that's 280 feet out there. You saw Wilhite just go back until he was out of room because, I mean, you compare that to Cantine Field, that's a fly ball that's probably still a good 10 feet in front of the fence. But again, the Stallions are playing with the same dimensions, and they haven't taken advantage of it tonight.
Here's Stone Meow. First pitch from Simprick in there for a strike. Richie Simprick, the 6'7" right-hander out of Franklin Pierce, a two-way guy. Saw him in the lineup last night. Now pitching. Replaces Ray Rodriguez, who was Simprick deals on the 0-1. Gets it, pop back, found the bunt attempt. Napolitano racing over and nearly got there. It's strike two. And one thing you have to say, this is the Stallions team that they're going to battle. I mean, they're a hard-playing team. And I wouldn't put it past him to rally in this ninth. That would not be shocked if they do come back. But again, it's going to come down to execution at the plate.
Yeah, and really good effort there from Napolitano. This backstop here is brick.
Yeah.
So if you go into it, that's not a good feeling. And
No.
he showed no fear there going down and trying to get that ball right in front of that backstop.
0-2 from Simprick. Line just off the glove of Simprick. Goldsmith fields it from second. Sidearm toss. Not in time. Meow beats out the throw. I think that'll probably be an infield single.
Yeah, that was hit hard, and Simprick did a good job just to get a glove on it. And, you know, we talked about Goldsmith's great throw earlier. This one didn't have quite as much on it. So he kind of looked like he might have stumbled a bit, kind of had to set his feet, and the throw hopped, and no chance to catch Meow. He's a fast guy. So as soon as that ball took a bounce on the way to Futures, there was no chance.
Top of the order, it's Bryce Eblin, 2 for 3 on the night, a pair of singles in his first two at-bats. Simprick, the righty. Righties to the lefty, Eblin. Kicks and fires. Meow started to move. A bunt down the third base side. Get their bare hand toss to first. Got him. And a flashy play by Fritz Ganther at third. And Dylan, that was frankly a necessary bare hand, too, to get the out.
Yeah, that's one of those plays they call do or die because you don't have a choice. If you pick that up with your glove, yeah, you have a better chance of picking it up cleanly, but you have no chance at throwing the runner out. So his only option there was bare hand and try to come up with it. And if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. He comes up with it, makes a really strong throw off balance for the first out. But again, more trouble for Simbrick here to work around. Now ran at second and one out.
For Brett Coker, who the top hitter statistically in this batting order, is 1 for 3 tonight, an infield single. His lone hit, Simprick slides in the outside corner, 0-1. And Richie had him on the broadcast a couple days ago. It was interesting to hear about his transition to being a pitcher. Guy who really hadn't had much pitching instruction, so he has learned a lot this summer from Rich Doobie. Has a great appreciation for the knowledge and the insight that Coach Doobie has provided him, and because Richie's a guy who, for most of his career, especially getting to college, was supposed to be a first baseman, but the coaching staff at Franklin Pierce liked his size. His velocity has picked up a bit as the 0-1 is hit deep to right field. Wilhite ranging back at the wall. It's off the fence. Wilhite hustles after it. Meow heading around third base. Coker into third. And it is an RBI triple. 6-2 Amsterdam, bottom of the 8th.
And again, that's where that wall comes into play. Obviously, that would have been an extra base hit basically anywhere, but you see Wilhite, he hasn't played here much. He doesn't know how that ball is going to bounce off the wall, and especially with all the, I mean, it's not just the wall. That wall is covered in advertisements, and you see the ones behind us. It's that like tarp kind of feeling cover, so a ball can really hit these ads and kind of die.
Right.
So it's really hard to predict how the ball is going to bounce off that wall, and Wilhite, a guy who's never played here, really doesn't know how to handle it. It kind of kicks away from him, not really by any fault of his own. And that turns what probably would have just been a double into a triple.
So 1 out for Matt Shaw in a game that has completely changed in this inning. Just been 2 innings as Shaw lifts it back foul 0-1. Back to the second inning. The Stallions enter that inning
Who are you going to call?
leading 2-0. And then 4 runs came across with 2 outs. And then here in the second, here in the 8th, 2 more runs coming across. And a 4-run lead, the way the Stallions have struggled, might be enough for Amsterdam, but we'll have to see. An 0-1 from Simprick. This is inside 1-1.
Simprick guy on the mound, he's had success this year. He's been good, but Mohawks are seeing him well right now. A couple really, really hard hit balls already in this inning, and like you mentioned, the 2 runs have already come in to score.
1-1 home, dribbler to left side of the infield. Genther looks back to third, fires to first in time, and another fine defensive play by Fritz Genther, charging in from third, and he's as surefire of a third baseman as you'll find in this league.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous glove and an even better arm. And the thing I liked most about this play was the fact that he was still able to look back the runner at third. That's not an easy thing to do, especially with a guy busting it up the first base line. You could almost be tempted to just straight up throw. I don't think that Coker would have gone home either way, but just a really nice heads up play there.
CJ Funk puts the first pitch he sees at a hop down the third base side foul. 0-1, 2 outs. 6-2 Amsterdam. The Mohawks have thus far plated 2 runs in this 8th. Attack on some insurance runs. The Stallions with their work cut out for them at the top of the 9th. Simprick peers home to G. Napolitano. 0-1 from Richie. Van Don 0-2. Nice off speed. And Dylan, I don't know about you, but I'm getting absolutely destroyed by some mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's brutal out here. It's getting bad. Mosquitoes have been in hiding for a while, especially last summer. There weren't a lot of people outside for them to bite, so they're back in full force this summer.
They're hungry. They're thirsty for blood. 0-2. Did Funk go appeal to the field? And yes, he did. So a Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union strikeout wraps up the bottom of the 8th inning. Richie Simprick gets the job done to finish it off, but Amsterdam does score 2 runs, 6-2 Mohawks. So it comes down to this for Saugerties. Can they score 4 runs or more? Find out next on the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Top of the 9th, and it comes down to this. And, well, if you're the Stallions, actually a good place to be. 10-1, 2 due up, so the 6-2 deficit. At least you got some bats. You want to be up at the plate, starting off with G. Napolitano, who is 0 for 1 tonight. He did walk twice. He grounded out to first in his most recent at-bat. Connor Brandon, the hard-throwing righty out of Toledo, stays in the mound. His first pitch in their first strike. And Stallions fans, I want to hear from you. Let us know where you're tuning in from. For those of you sticking with us throughout tonight's broadcast, let us know where you're watching from. And we'll give a big shout out to everyone, but especially the person or people who are watching from the furthest location. 0-1. Napolitano swings through an off-speed pitch. 0-2.
I was just going to say that we could find some sort of prize to give whoever's farthest away, but then I also thought, if they're that far away, how would we give it to them?
Well, the mail's always an option.
Oh, that's true.
Or if they come to a Stallions game. 0-2, Napolitano, slap shot into left center field. This could be extra bases for Gene. He heads around first, he stumbles over towards second, and he's in with a leadoff double in the ninth. First extra base hit of the evening for Saugerties on a 99-mile-per-hour pitch.
I was just about to say it couldn't have come at a better time, but a better time probably would have been the 3 times that the Stallions left the bases loaded. However, for the situation, that is exactly what Saugerties needs. Just give yourself a chance. You saw Brandon last inning. You know, the team kind of knows what he's about. The guys talk. So even the players that didn't get to face him, they know what he's throwing. They know what to deal with. So it's a good start, but obviously, again, still a little ways to go for the Stallions if they want to tie this game.
Well, you put top of the order at the plate, Nick Iverson. He's swinging early. Fouls the first pitch off. First base side out of play.
And that one was 98.
He just launches that thing, man.
It's really crazy to see guys that can get up there with that velocity and really just make it look so easy.
0-1 offering to Iverson is high, 1-1. Top of the ninth, Stallions down 6-2. They scored 2 runs in the top of the second. Amsterdam scored 4 in the bottom. Saugerties scored 2 in the top of the first. Amsterdam 4 in the bottom of the second, 2 in the bottom of the eighth. The 1-1 to Iverson, works to the knees, 1-2. Nobody out here in the ninth. Nick Iverson represents the top of the order. He is 0 for 4, including strikeouts and back-to-back at-bats. Napolitano stands on second after the double. One-two to Iverson. Napolitano leads off. Brandon fires home. Iverson hooks it back foul.
In those 2 balls he's fouled off, he's hit him pretty hard, but he's late. And, I mean, you look at the radar
99,
gun.
yeah.
It's pretty easy to see why. But now you've seen it a few times. You got to get on it here.
I wonder if the scoreboard reaches 100, because he might hit 100.
Oh.
1-2 to Iverson. Breaking ball, chop foul. Impressive that he was even on that pitch.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. When you go from 99 to 90 there, that's a big speed difference. And obviously he was way out in front, but he was in swing mode on 1-2 and just able to foul that off and protect.
So a couple of comments. Arnold and Ruth Gross tuning in from New Jersey. Wendell Garrett tuning all the way in from Kingston. Now, if that was Kingston, Jamaica, I think that'd be the winner. But I don't think it is. 1-2, Iverson swings through the high cheese, 1 away.
Yeah, that's where the velocity comes into play, because that wasn't really even that close to being a strike. But when you get in protect mode against a guy who's throwing, borderline triple digits, you got to commit to swing right away. And when you get a fastball and you start swinging, and it's up, and you already committed to swinging on a 99-mile-an-hour pitch, you're not going to be able to hold up.
We'll see how Gunnar Goldsmith fares against the hard-throwing Connor Brandon out of Toledo. Goldsmith is 0 for 2. He walked twice, struck out twice. First pitch is lined towards the Stallions' dugout. And from our vantage point, we couldn't see if that hit anyone or came close to hitting anyone, but we did hear some oohs and ahs.
And you
seems
can
like
see,
everyone's okay.
You saw Fritz Genther in the on-deck circle holding up his hand for the ball. So I do believe it did go into that Stallion dugout.
0-1 offering to Goldsmith. Brandon kicks and deals home outside at a fastball. 1-1. All right, so we have so far a new leader. It's Sherry Walker watching from Indiana. Sherry says watching from Indiana, go Stallions. Sounds like some dinosaurs in the house. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody just, I don't even know. Ugh, jeez. It's not easy on the ears.
Here's the 1-1 to Goldsmith. And a haphazard swing for strike 2. Puts him behind to the count.
Yeah, that was definitely a half-hearted attempt there. 95 miles an hour, so interesting, kind of in between. You know, his curveball's 90, fastball's upper 90s, that one right in the middle.
Napolitano on second. Had a double to left center. Now the 1-2 to Goldsmith. Struck him out. A swinging strike 3 and a fastball by Connor Brandon. And the Stallions are down to their final out.
Yeah, and obviously Connor Brandon is out here throwing, there you go, 100 miles an hour on that last pitch, and on the scoreboard it only shows us a 0, so that was a bit slow. But again, it's the velocity, which it's hard to hit. You know, there's no secret about that. But at the same time, guys throw hard in this league, and you have to be able to hit fastballs.
Right.
At any level. It doesn't matter how hard guys are throwing. You have to be able to hit a fastball.
Fritz Genther was ahead of that off-speed pitch. By the way, Sherry Walker, Jack Walker's grandma. Here we go. Doug T saying, my 6-year-old son says, go Stallions from Miami. That's a new leader, and actually, we might have the winner. John Janowitz from Avila Beach, California.
Oh.
A 1 to get their fastball in the zone for strike 2. And Saugerties down to its final strike. This was a game that looked promising from the beginning. 2 runs in the first, but the offense and the bats sputtered as this game progressed. Zeros on the board since then. Napolitano on second. An 0-2 count from Brandon, and time is called before the pitch.
I didn't see Genther really motion to the ump. He might have said time. I almost wonder if that had to do with the music that was playing, because he was about to pitch and that song was still on full blast.
0-2, 2 outs. Genther leans back. It's in there, strike 3 regardless. Big hook on that pitch from Brandon. That wraps it up. 6-2 Amsterdam victorious. 8-4 advantage in hits for the Mohawks. You know, the storyline tonight, just leaving guys on base and a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's just not really necessarily a great approach. You know, you have so many guys behind on the fastballs, and I mean, I feel like I just said it a minute ago, but, you know, obviously, yeah, Connor Brandon's throwing hard. The Mohawks pitchers have guys that throw hard, but hitting the fastball is essentially the easiest pitch you can hit, because, especially a four-seam fastball, because it's straight. So it doesn't matter how fast it is. If you time it up, you can hit it. And the Stallions hitters just were not timing up fastballs today. We saw a lot of late swings and misses, not just against Connor Brandon, but against Dylan Carmouche, who was throwing significantly softer than Connor Brandon was, and against Cole Patton as well. So again, it's just approach. They have to put the ball in play. If you're going to drive in runs, it's really that simple. It's more simple to say it than it is to execute it, but it really boils down to that. You just have to be able to put the ball in play, especially when you have guys on base.
So with a 6-2 win, Amsterdam now leads the season series 4-2. The Stallions drop to 13-6, snap a 2-game win streak. Amsterdam ups its record to 17-4. Now the good news, tomorrow's a new day. On the road at Oneonta, and just based on what we've seen from those two teams, Saugerties 4-0 in the season against the Outlaws. You figure tomorrow could be a coming-out party for these bats, right? Yeah,
and you hope so. And you mentioned it. Tomorrow's a new day, and with baseball, you have to have basically, you almost have to have short-term memory loss to play baseball, because you have to be able to throw everything out the window, not just day by day, but at bat by at bat, inning by inning, pitch by pitch even. And for the Stallions, they've done a good job of doing that this year. They have not lost back-to-back games at any point so far this season. So a favorable matchup tomorrow. Obviously, an Oneonta team that the Stallions are undefeated against this year. Yeah. So big matchup in Oneonta tomorrow. And for the Stallions, all they can do now. This is probably the worst offensive showing I've seen all year, and I'm including the 1-0 game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just 4 hits tonight for the Stallions, but a long season ahead as they fall 6-2 at Amsterdam. That'll do it for our broadcast tonight. Actually, quick last comment. We might have to pull up Google Maps. You're the Google Maps, Maps expert.
Oh, geez.
We have a comment from Eric Disbrow. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Gunnar Goldsmith's grandparents watching from Fresno, California. Okay. So we have to figure out from Amsterdam, New York to Fresno, California, and then Amsterdam, New York to Avila Beach, California. I'll look up Avila Beach, California.
For Fresno, it's 2,911 miles away.
All right, let's see. You might even pull this up faster than I will.
Well, actually, I'm not going to because I don't
Okay,
remember
let's
the other
see.
city, unfortunately.
I'll take a look at directions from Shuttleworth Park. This is live broadcasting, folks. Google Maps. So let's see the winner of our competition tonight. So you said to Fresno, how far is it?
2,911 miles.
By 18 miles. The winner is John Janowitz. 2,929 miles. How about that?
I mean, that's about as close as you can get for halfway across the country.
So I hope our California viewers are enjoying their dinner time. For us, we're going to get some food, post-game meal.
Yeah.
Stallions fall 6-2. Big thanks to all of you for joining us tonight on the Saugerties Stallions Broadcast Network. Make sure to tune in tomorrow evening at Oneonta for Jake Starr and Michael Gross on the call. Follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook under the Saugerties Stallions, Twitter at PGCBL Stallions, Instagram and TikTok at the Saugerties Stallions. For my broadcast partner tonight, Dylan McGlynn, our sideline reporter, Michael Gross, I'm John Gross, signing off from Shuttleworth Park in Amsterdam, New York. Stallions fall 6-2. This has been Saugerties Stallions Baseball.